What's up, chat? Let me fix this real quick, and then we're gonna get started. Let's close Spotify. We're done with the music for now. Couple changes. Oh, what am I doing? Shit. Couple changes to what I'm doing with the whole streaming thing. So we now are streaming on 3 platforms instead of just Twitch. We're now streaming on 3 platforms. I have it all set up to stream on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. So we are stacked right now. We're franchising. So now we're streaming on 3 different platforms. So I'm super hype about that. So now I got all my chats open and everything like that. But we're gonna have a fun stream today. It's not gonna be super long. We're just gonna do we're doing a little reaction stream. We got 5 videos. They're all long videos. It'll probably be about a 3-hour stream, something like that. But we're gonna have some fun today. Chats are open. We're all set, I think. Let me make sure the YouTube one's good. Yeah, we're all good. Keeping on cool. How's everyone's day going? This chain gets stuck in my fucking beanie. It's annoying. Yeah, we got some fun video. We got some conspiracy videos. We got theory videos. We're gonna have lots of fun today. All right. I'm watching. Oh shit. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's get started. First video. Horrors from an FBI database. I don't know. Actually, I saw the first video. We'll go through the videos right now. Oh yeah, it is. Hold on. Gotta get my stream deck. We got, first of all, oh, what's going on here? Oh, we're good. I don't know why I had it set up like that. Hold on, I'm lacking right now. Okay, now we're good. We got first video, urban legends that turned out to be true. Exposing the most dangerous cult in America, Fred Beyer. Not sure how that video is gonna go, but we'll see. Fred Beyer is fucking chaotic. This guy, he's a Disney villain for sure. Insane conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. The most disturbing internet footage iceberg, and horrors from an FBI database. We're gonna have lots of fun today. We got some theories. We got some fun shit going on. Yeah, let's get started. First video of the day. Hold on. We're gonna go middle of the road today. All right, first video of the day, urban legends that turned out to be true.
West Hobart Haunted House. West Hobart is an inner-city suburb located in Tasmania, Australia. Over the years, dozens of allegations of supposed hauntings, ghost apparitions, and other paranormal activity have been made by tourists and residents of West Hobart. And it's honestly not too hard to see why, as West Hobart is a pretty old town with a generally creepy vibe. As is usually the case, most of these stories have either turned out to be fake, or the people making the allegations didn't have enough evidence to support their claims, which makes it almost entirely likely that they're hoaxes. But as it turns out, at least one of these stories actually has some amount of truth to it. Back in the late 80s and mid-90s, rumors started spreading of a house in West Hobart that was apparently so haunted it drove its residents insane. At first, the rumors created a huge buzz all over town, with the locals doing everything possible to stay far away from the alleged haunted house. It wasn't until months later that the authorities got involved and finally got a clear picture of the situation. While it was true that the house's residents appeared to be going insane, it didn't have anything to do with paranormal activity, but with the fact that a datura vine had been growing through the trees directly above the home and dropping leaves into the family's rainwater tank. For a long time, the family had been inadvertently consuming microdoses of the plant every single day, which made them slowly but surely start to lose their sanity as they sank further and further into delirium.
Wait, so the plant was making them go insane?
In case you've never heard of it, datura is a species of plant within the nightshade family, also known as Jimson weed, the devil's weed, or devil's trumpet, and you'll see why in a second. Even though the plant itself looks pretty harmless, it's known for having extremely powerful hallucinogenic properties.
Hell yeah! Someone ship me some. Fuck, I can't even read them because I don't have my glasses on. That sounds like a you problem, gang.
Why it was used for centuries by Native American tribes in coming-of-age rituals and other important ceremonies. The Aztecs
was the urban legend that the flower made you go insane?
also used datura as a painkiller in certain rituals, namely in ritual sacrifices, and it's also commonly used as an ingredient in the ritual of zombification in the Haitian voodoo religion, where it's referred to as the devil's cucumber. As you can probably tell by now, datura isn't your typical recreative hallucinogen, and there's a reason why it's really only ever used in hardcore spiritual rituals and ceremonies, and sometimes by naive people who have no idea what they're
Wasn't salvia also used in that context too?
getting themselves into. In low to medium doses, datura causes extremely distressing, delirious experiences, and in higher doses it can lead to paralysis and even death.
A hallucinogen can lead to paralysis? Dude, I watched a video on salvia and people, deadass, someone said that they were a ceiling fan for 5 years. I'm being so for real. The video's out there. It's on YouTube. Me and Packard reacted to a video about salvia and someone deadass lived as a ceiling fan for 5 years because of the hallucinogen.
Nowadays, datura is recognized by most tribes as a highly toxic and dangerous plant, and have understandably stopped using it.
Picked a great
Oh, for fuck's sake, we're already on some bullshit.
your
We're already
voice
on
doesn't
bullshit.
quite match it.
I'm not getting YouTube Premium.
Voice mod gives you over
$25 my ass. Why don't you suck it?
Before we move on, I wanted to take a minute to talk about War Thunder, the sponsor.
Yo, you can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. I don't give a fuck about War Thunder. Bro, no one's ever played this game, dude. No one has ever touched the game War Thunder. Everyone keeps getting, like, sponsored by this fuck-ass company. Oh my god, that was its own section, that sponsor. Alright, we're back.
Cropsy. If you were to
Wait, okay, so what was the last... So, cheap ass? Yo, actually go fuck yourself. I'm not spending $25 for no ads. What the fuck? Who does YouTube think they are charging $25 just so I don't have ads? Go fuck yourself. I'm not doing that. What was the last conspiracy? Was it just that the flower made you go insane? Was that the whole conspiracy? Wow, that was super interesting.
now go back to the 70s and spend some time in Staten Island, it probably wouldn't
I've heard some crazy shit about Staten Island.
take too long to hear about an urban legend of a man named Cropsy. As the story went, Cropsy was a serial kidnapper and killer who lost his son and resorted to stealing other people's children to deal with his grief. According to the legend, Cropsy also had a hook for a hand, scars, burns, and open wounds covering his entire face and body, and a generally horrifying appearance. Considering the mass areas of uninhabited woodlands, it's not all that unexpected that a tale like the legend of Cropsy would make it into the mainstream culture at some point. Unfortunately, this wasn't just a tall tale made up by Staten Island parents to keep their kids from venturing too far into the woods and getting lost.
Oh my gosh, my parents told me so much. I think my dad told me that if I stuck my hand out the window while in the car, my hand's gonna get chopped off. Who the fuck looks at a 10-year-old and says that shit with a straight face?
Although the legend has some obviously made-up elements, such as the hooked hand and the horrifying scars and burns, at some point in the early 70s, children in Staten Island really did start disappearing. That's when the line between legend and reality started to blur, and the story of the real Cropsy immediately replaced the urban legend. This is the real story. Andre Rand was a man from Manhattan who was born in 1944 and moved to Staten Island in the late 60s. After working for 2 years at the infamously brutal Willowbrook State School for Children with Disabilities, Rand was arrested in 1969 and served over...
No. Not children with disabilities. I don't like where the story's going. I'm not fucking with this.
a year in prison for the attempted attack of a 9-year-old girl.
Look, I don't want to be one of those people that says that they hate all men, but some of y'all make it really fucking hard.
As soon as he was released 16 months later, reports started cropping up of more little girls disappearing all over Staten Island, including 5-year-old Alice Pereira, who was playing in her building's...
Why do you have to show me your face? Yo, I hate it when people do this. They tell me like some crazy fucking story, and then now I gotta look at that cute face. That's fucked up.
When she suddenly disappeared without a trace. Over the next decade, Rand was the prime suspect in the disappearances and deaths of several other young girls in the area. But it wasn't until 1983 when he picked up 11 kids from a local YMCA.
Motherfuckers collecting them like they're infinity stones. Why do you need 11, gang? How many angles are you hitting?
Brought them fast food before taking them to the airport that he was finally arrested and sentenced to 10 months in prison again.
10 months? What? Was it the free trial? What do you mean 10 months?
Throughout the 70s and
11
80s, dozens
kids,
of
10
young
months,
kids
Jesus.
disappeared in Staten Island, and although Rand was often the last person to be seen with them, there was ultimately never enough evidence to put him away for a long time. For many years, he would often be seen hanging around young kids, going on walks with them, and even taking them to lunch and dinner with him at local restaurants. After years of letting him walk the streets as a free man, police would finally have a breakthrough in the case in 1987 when they found undeniable evidence that Rand had been behind the disappearance and murder of Jennifer Schweiger, a 12-year-old girl with Down syndrome. In 1988, he was sentenced to 25 years to life, and while he was behind bars, more and more evidence was found that tied him to several other disappearances in Staten Island in the 70s and 80s.
So they just kept charging him while he was already there?
With one additional major crime in
Are we fucking deadass?
2004, which was the kidnapping of Holly Ann Hughes, thanks to which he will spend the next 13 years behind bars until 2037. If he lives that long, he'll be 93 by the time he gets out. The Maine Hermit.
Trying to repopulate the earth with his seed like he Epstein or something? I don't think Epstein did that, but sure.
Kennebec Valley is one of the most beautiful regions in Maine, with over 5,000 square miles of forests, rolling hills, and natural paradise surrounding the Kennebec River. Many cabin owners of the North Pond area in the Kennebec Valley have described the area as the most peaceful place on Earth. But it hasn't always been that way. All throughout the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, there were reports of over 1,000 break-ins in the North Pond cabins. For decades, nobody knew who was responsible for the thefts, especially since
it's fucking Bigfoot.
They were always carried out when there was no one home. As the cabin owners soon
Bigfoot's never been seen. See, I'm solving these cases in 3 seconds.
noticed, the break-ins seemed to follow a pattern, always peaking in the days before Memorial Day and after Labor Day. As for the stolen items themselves, they ranged from food, to cooking utensils, to books, to propane tanks, to toiletries of all kinds. In the absence of a concrete suspect, the locals eventually named the thief the North Pond Hermit, even though by this point there was nothing to suggest the break-ins were being carried out by a single person. Although it wasn't uncommon for groups of homeowners to venture out into the woods to try to find the North Pond Hermit, they never found a trace, which only added to the legend's mystery. One afternoon in 2002, 100 people attended a North Pond homeowners meeting, and when someone asked how many of them had suffered break-ins, almost all of them raised their hands. As you can probably guess,
So, after 500, none of y'all decided to maybe do something about it? It took you 1,000 break-ins for you to actually get together?
North Pond Hermit quickly turned into somewhat of a boogeyman, with the legend frequently being shared over campfires in the area. For years, nobody thought that the person or people behind the break-ins would ever be found. But in April 2013, a man named Christopher Thomas Knight was arrested.
That motherfucker was the one doing it?
In the middle of the woods in the
This
North
guy
Pond
looks
area by an
sweeter
officer
than a
who
honey
made it
bun.
his sole mission to bring the thief to justice. As soon as he was brought to the police station, the cops asked him why he wasn't answering any of their questions. At first, it seemed as though he was having trouble speaking, but eventually he responded that he was ashamed of himself. As it was later revealed, Christopher had been living out in the middle of the woods by himself in an unheated nylon tent, surviving only on the things he stole from nearby North Pond cabins.
Okay.
Shockingly, he had survived winter temperatures of
How did nobody find him? He was just posted up in the woods, bro.
20 degrees below zero for years and hadn't been to a doctor or taken any medicine for 3 decades.
Oh shit.
What's most incredible about the hermit's story is that for the entire time he lived in the woods, he didn't have a single conversation with another human being, except for one time when he ran into a hiker and only said hi. Understandably, Chris had lost interest in keeping track of time, so when he was asked how long he had been in the woods by himself, he replied, since the Chernobyl nuclear meltdown, which took place in 1986. As investigators later found out, he was 20 years old when he decided to become a hermit, just a couple of years after high school, although he never gave the authorities a real reason why he decided to disappear. In all his years of isolation, he went to extreme lengths to preserve his privacy. He never lit fires, only moved at night, and hadn't had any kind of communication with the rest of society for more than half of his life.
Wait, he didn't light a single fire? And that's like the first instruction every Outdoor Boy video gives you. What did he do for warmth?
He'd never driven a car, sent an email, or even known what the internet was until his arrest.
Oh shit.
Interestingly, as the cops dug deeper and deeper into his story, they realized that his only real possessions were his glasses, which he had been wearing for 30 years and could even be seen in his Lawrence High School yearbook picture from 1984.
Those do not look like the same glasses.
Everything else down to his underwear and jacket had been stolen. After the investigation, Knight was sentenced to 7 months in prison, after which he...
Okay, 1,000 break-ins, 7 months. What the fuck? What is our why do we even have a legal system? You know, that's just the most every single story I react to, like the guy gets like 7 months, they get released, and then they do more things after they get released. Like, this is so fucking stupid. Every single video we watch, they just don't get any fair punishment for what they're doing. 1,000 break-ins, he gets 7 months.
Once again disappeared. According to the cops, he's now living a quiet, peaceful life in rural Maine.
I guess it worked. Oh my gosh, these fucking ads, bro. I can't. Holy planet of a forehead. Oh yeah, no, that Britain could have colonized that amount of land.
Purple Aki. Throughout the late 1980s and 90s, rumors of a massive bodybuilder called Purple Aki began to surface in the northwest of England. According to the allegations, Purple Aki would supposedly walk the streets of Liverpool hunting down young muscular men and rugby players and oddly ask them if he would let them feel their muscles. If they
What the fuck?
Complied, he would allegedly squeeze their muscles for much longer than was considered socially acceptable and would then ask them to
Who the fuck is saying yes?
perform squats so he could feel their quad muscles. Some teenagers reported that Purple Aki even went as far as to ask them to pose for him, and often offered exercise and nutrition advice for those who gave him the time. Because the rumors were so incredibly ridiculous, nobody really took them too seriously at first, and eventually the story of Purple Aki turned into an urban legend, with crazy details being gradually added to the tale, including one where Purple Aki would allegedly swallow teenagers whole if they let him feel their muscles. But
is this where the big dick Randy trend came from?
as time went on, it became clear that Purple Aki wasn't just a made-up character created by bored teenagers looking to get some laugh from their friends, but a real person named Akinwul Arobic. Aki was often seen traveling across England by train carrying a plastic bag and asking young men if he could feel their muscles. Naturally, this made a lot of people uncomfortable, and it wasn't uncommon for Aki's face to be featured in local newspapers after several encounters with the law. Most of the accusations against him were related to his creepy behavior around teenage boys, but around 1986, the story of Purple Aki took a really dark turn. Early that year, 16-year-old Gary Keller was walking home from school when he ran into Purple Aki, who immediately asked to feel his muscles. Freaked out by the weird request, Gary said no and ran away. Later that same year, Aki followed Gary to a local outdoor swimming pool, and when the teenager noticed, he ran to New Brighton train station and jumped onto the railroad tracks to get away from Aki. Sadly, the story ended in tragedy, as Gary was accidentally electrocuted by one of the rails.
I'm sorry, the motherfucker got away just to get fucking electrocuted by a train.
Considering the whole thing happened because Gary was being chased, Purple Aki was convicted of involuntary manslaughter, charged with harassing 14 different teenage boys, and sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. In 1988, Aki filed an appeal and complained that the only reason he had been convicted was because he was black. Ultimately, the judges agreed
I promise that's not why.
there wasn't enough evidence to prove Aki had been directly responsible for Gary's death, and believe it or not, he was freed and awarded £35,000 in compensation. Between 1988 and 2006, Aki went in and out of
I mean, he definitely didn't kill the kid, but also the conviction was completely deserved.
for failing to resist his compulsion to touch, feel, and measure other people's muscles. And in 2003, he was arrested for an additional 15 charges of harassment and witness intimidation, for which he was sentenced to 6 years in prison. Just like any other predator, he was also forbidden from waiting outside schools in the area. A few months later, he was jailed for 15 months for getting up to his same antics. Upon his release, he was once again arrested a few weeks later in 2010 and then again in 2015.
Okay.
After his
This guy can't fucking help himself. What is your obsession with measuring muscle? Please say he tells us why he does this.
release, he reportedly moved to Leeds, where rumors started cropping up that he had passed away during the pandemic. However, those rumors were put to rest when videos started surfacing in 2023 of a key walking the streets of Leeds asking random dudes to, you guessed it, feel their muscles.
Jesus Christ.
As of today, Purple Aki is alive and well, and will probably continue in his same behavior with or without permission for many years to come. Le Loyen. According to a Swiss urban legend, people have allegedly been running into a mysterious human-like figure in the Fribourg forest in the western
Skinwalker!
part of the country near the town of Mals since the early 2000s. Based on the dozens of allegations that surfaced over the years, the figure has been described as being around 6 feet tall and always wearing a vintage-looking gas mask covering his entire face, a boiler suit, and a cloak. Most people who supposedly ran into the figure reported he or she was completely harmless, but this didn't make the encounters any less terrifying, and it wasn't uncommon for people to report the figure to the police when their children reported feeling scared. As expected, it didn't take local residents long to start adding their own crazy twist to the story, with some claiming that the creature was the ghost of a mentally unstable soldier, while other popular theories are
How the fuck do these rumors just like randomly show up? Like, someone has to be like deliberately like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna lie my ass off.
it was an alien. For a while, the story was classified as an urban legend, and the mysterious humanoid was given the name Le Loyen, also known as the Ghost or the Hermit of Mals. Throughout the early 2000s, Le Loyen was mostly the subject of local oral legend because there was no real evidence to support its existence. But in 2013, the story gained international attention when the Swiss/French newspaper Le Matin published the first ever photograph of Le Loyen, which was sent in by a hiker. After the photograph was published, there was no turning back, as people
Is he wearing a fucking cape?
from all over the country started to make trips to the woods outside Mals for a chance to catch a glimpse of Le Loyen. The last known sighting of Le Loyen took place in June 2013 when a local woman named Marianne Desclous saw the figure clutching a bunch of flowers as she was walking outside. Later that year, Le Loyen's clothes were found in the middle of the woods along with a wooden note titled "The Death Certificate and Will of the Ghost des Mals." In the letter, Le Loyen accused the media of having murdered a harmless being by revealing its existence and turning him into a circus freak. The letter also mentioned that due to the unwanted attention, Le Loyen had to abandon its daily walks, which were referred to as happiness therapy in the letter. After the cryptic note was published in the newspaper,
Well, yeah, I mean, you're living in the woods long enough. That's how it's gonna seem.
concluded that Le Loyen had taken its own life, although this has never been confirmed. As of 2024, nobody has ever seen Le Loyen's true face, and many people have theorized that the figure was possibly a woman with a facial disfiguration who didn't want people to see her, which is supposedly why she wore the gas mask. But this line of reasoning will probably remain unconfirmed forever.
Great!
Oh my god, this guy's
News.
making so much money
Now
off
your
of me
account
right now.
has a level, and you get free daily cases for it.
The Bunny Man. In the
Alright, what do we think this is? What do we think this is? He's playing hopscotch with kids. He has kids play hopscotch with them, and then they're stuck playing hopscotch for all of eternity.
early 70s, dozens of locals started reporting that a man dressed up as a bunny had started haunting the residential neighborhoods around DC, Maryland, and Northern Virginia.
He's just dressed up as a bunny. That's the urban legend. These aren't urban legends, dude. These are just people witnessing weird shit.
Although dressing up as a bunny in itself seems pretty harmless, what made the encounters a little scarier was that the guy would allegedly threaten children on the street with
What the fuck? Why are you dressed as a bunny?
an axe and frequently vandalize people's property for no apparent reason. Even though sightings of the so-called Bunny Man were pretty rare, they seemed to follow a pattern, as the man usually appeared in secluded locations where there weren't a lot of witnesses. The story itself has a lot of elements of a typical urban legend and is kind of hard to believe, but through my research I found that it's all loosely based on a true story. In 1970, a couple was parked in a driveway close to a bridge on Colchester Road in Fairfax County when suddenly a random guy appeared out of nowhere, yelled at them for allegedly trespassing, and threw a hatchet at their car. Terrified, the couple left the area immediately before they had a chance to get a good look at the guy. As they reported the incident to the police, they mentioned the guy had been dressed in light-colored clothing and may or may not have been wearing something white on his head. Although the couple never mentioned anything about a bunny in their statement, as soon as the story hit the news, people started claiming that the hatchet thrower had been wearing bunny ears. Pretty soon, rumors of a man in a bunny suit threatening kids in the woods with a hatchet started surfacing.
Hey, I was right about the kids, just not the hopscotch. I don't know where the hatchet's coming from.
All over the DMV area, and as the years went by, the stories got wilder and harder to believe. Over time, the legend of the Bunny Man has become pretty mainstream, with the bridge on Colchester.
Okay, if I saw this motherfucker, even with that minus the hatchet, if I saw this motherfucker, I'm running so fast.
Road even being renamed as Bunny Man Bridge. As of the uploading of this video, the legend has now been standardized and goes something like this. In 1904, there was allegedly an asylum close to the bridge on Colchester Road. As soon as it was built, a bunch of Fairfax County residents started complaining about the idea of having an asylum full of mental patients so close to their homes, so the authorities supposedly put all the patients in a bus and transferred them to a nearby prison. But on the way to the prison, the bus crashed and all the patients escaped. As the story goes, a few hours later the cops had successfully located and brought back all the patients except for one guy by the name of Douglas Griffin. This is where the legend gets a little weird. Allegedly, the fugitive patient hid in the woods from the authorities for weeks. As the days went by and the cops did everything to find him, rabbit corpses started to appear in the middle of the woods, which led everyone to believe Douglas was eating bunnies to stay alive. Then, one Halloween night, a group of kids were hanging out near the bridge on Colchester Road when they suddenly saw a blue orb flashing in midair. A second later, they were all strung up like bunnies hanging from the bridge. As the legend goes, if you go to Bunnyman Bridge on Halloween night at midnight, the same thing will happen to you. Obviously, none of this is true, but it just goes to show how much of an impact the story of the Bunny Man has had on mainstream Virginia, DC, and Maryland culture. Nowadays, there's even Bunny Man t-shirts, a Bunny Man horror movie franchise, Bunny Man beer, and everything in between. Needless to say,
stop getting awful people and making movies and naming them. I don't understand naming serial killers. Why are we giving them more of an image than they already have? It's the dumbest concept to me. And then we make movies about them. Like, you're making them immortal. What is wrong? I don't understand this. It doesn't make any sense.
the area surrounding the railroad overpass near Fairfax Station is now a major attraction for both tourists and locals alike, and will probably remain that way for many years.
I mean, those weren't really urban legends, were they? What's the definition of an urban legend? A form of modern folklore consisting of fictional... Oh, because every single story had people making up shit. So that's an urban... Okay. I mean, that was a good video. They weren't that creepy, though. I was hoping for a little bit of something more exciting. But we'll move on to the next video. The bunny, that was the weirdest one. I don't know what the fuck the obsession with the bunny is. That's weird. Let me... Oh, this video might be a fucking disaster. This video might be a disaster. If you don't know who Fred Beyer is, he's pretty funny. But he's, like, every single content creator is scared of him because he, like, is just a premium rage baiter. So this might be a fucking disaster, but we're gonna watch it anyway. Exposing the most dangerous cult in America. Let's lock in. I've seen this text template on CapCut. This guy uses CapCut to edit.
Hi, I'm Fred Beyer, and this video is for educational purposes only.
Today, I'm attempting to go undercover in allegedly one of America's most dangerous cults. Our main goal is to sneak in, gain their trust through initiation, and to expose them. Ex-cult members have made allegations that they were subjected to brainwashing, human trafficking, and extortion. Actors Tom Cruise and John Travolta have come forward being associated, but some speculate it could be against...
Oh, that's this cult? My mom was telling me about that, how Tom Cruise is in a cult, and I was like, that's cool. I don't give a shit about Tom Cruise.
their will. Today, I'm going in to find out. But first, we needed a disguise.
All right, guys, we're back to another video on the channel. I'm not gonna lie, I'm attempting something
See, not even a minute in, he's already on some weird shit.
very, very different today. For those of you who remember, he helped me pull off one of the biggest pranks in my life back in New York. So I think I'm coming again. Hey, wow, yo, you look great, my man. No homo though, no homo. Quick question.
Yeah.
So, ever heard of Scientology?
Yes. Are you the Scientology people?
Oh, it's
No,
Scientology.
We're just infiltrating them.
If you were infiltrating, you'd be wearing the shirt and ties and all
That's what
that
we're buying today.
stuff. That's what you're buying?
Look, I was very confident.
We already watched a video on Scientology, but it was the video I watched was all right because he didn't actually find out a lot of things. He kind of just pissed off the people that work there. I'm hoping he does something a little bit more fun, like actually gets in.
Determined to make the craziest Halloween special in YouTube history. And I had a plan. You see, it was very simple. Dress up like them, walk in like them, and act like them. I mean, realistically, this should have took us only a minute. But Walmart had other ideas.
Taking this prank with Fred had me really worried. Like, what the f am I gonna do pranking a cult? What was the plan? What was he trying to do? I just felt like he was gonna be a liability.
Okay, no, I was gonna be no liability. You see, this plan was foolproof. I got us 3 hidden cameras. I replicated the uniforms straight to a T. There was no way that we would have got caught. But you know, at the end of the day, didn't really matter what he thought.
He's got the meta glasses on. This guy knows ball.
We're not winning this.
Oh
round.
my
My teammates
fucking
are
god.
bro.
Of course.
I might have to get
Always
YouTube
fun.
Premium because holy
Anyway.
fuck, this is unbelievable.
Hi, we're looking for
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna have you guys first sign in. What is your name?
James.
James. Perfect. My goodness. Perfect.
Dude, they're like always on high alert. Every single video I see on Scientology, they're always like staring every single person that walks in down to make sure that they're not like trying to expose them.
Okay, good. So take a seat for me, and I will tell you guys are here.
All right, thank you so much.
Everything was going fine, according to plan actually, until I look down and I see a big black scribble on the sign-in sheet. Ain't no way he put down his real name.
Ain't no way I put down my real name.
Are you Jimmy?
James.
James. It's all dressed up.
We're like fairly new.
Okay.
I thought this was like a dress code or something.
No, where did you get that?
Oh, she recognizes them. Oh, fuck.
Just like driving around.
Got it.
Okay, this plan was going to sh. I'm 99% sure some lady took a picture of me.
Do you guys like to read?
Oh, dude, the last time I read it was Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Hate that shit.
I see.
Is this like a secure environment?
Yeah, what's up?
So like, he's been like addicted to like pornography.
Okay.
I wanted to tell her.
Okay, deadass, why are they all wearing the same outfit though? Like this looks like they planned it beforehand.
I would rather tell her.
Yeah.
That's just like.
Okay, but like, how did they know though? Like, right when we walked in the door, they just knew something was up.
I don't know, maybe because you have 2 million subscribers on YouTube? Like, what do you want?
Like,
Obviously.
100% took a picture. Saw her pick up the cam, take it, put it back down. How you doing? Yeah, we want to get.
Hey, so like, real stuff. Are we crazy for like going in there?
They'll shoot you in there. Yeah, they carry Mac 10s on them. Their whole laws there are different from the laws
What
over
the
here.
fuck kind of security guard is this?
There was a lady a couple months ago ran there butt naked down the road. 10 minutes later, a white van picked her up, and I've never seen it again. Happens at least 3 times, 4 times a year. Yeah, it's just
You never thought to maybe tell someone about this? Someone got gunned down by a Mac 10, you said nothing?
crazy stuff in there.
Damn. So like we're real pranksters then, huh?
Yeah, doing pranks, you gotta be careful. If you see a guy wearing like a straight, like all black suits, they carry 2 Mac 10s inside their vest.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, when I see you guys going there, I'm like, how the hell they get in here? I'm
Well,
surprised you guys got that far in there. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
they
shit.
well, dude, thank you so much
No problem.
for everything.
Safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
What?
Appreciate you, man.
The fuck?
Butt naked, bro.
Bro, so like they carry Mac 10s. Oh yeah. This prank was gonna be something. I honestly underestimated them. So the only logical thing to do here was to feel them out.
Did he go up to a random Scientology member and tell them to feel their sleeve?
Bro, everywhere we go. you know, and I think it was right then and there where it hit me. If I was gonna pull this off, I would have to act alone.
Alright, Fred just left. Me and Jimmy are behind. Initial thoughts, I would say he's... Oh, he might be calling me right now. He's calling. Yo.
Alright, bro, I'm about to go in.
See you on the flip side.
Okay, but like real shit though, I'm tweaking. I'm tweaking a little bit, I'm not gonna lie.
Right before you walk in, do you have any last words, any goodbyes to anyone, just in case anything happens?
If I don't make it out, give Zach the YouTube channel.
Alright.
Oh shit. He's in there with the meta glasses.
Have you seen it before?
First time.
Go in, don't miss it.
I don't know what I just walked in on, but my inner intuition told me it was nothing good. Have you ever seen like a Fred Beyer video? You know the guy who like pulls the fire alarm? Yeah, it's so funny.
What? Okay, dead ass, what are you doing? Like, it's like he wants to get, well, he probably does. I mean, some security guard just told him that he was gonna get sprayed down by a MAC-10.
Okay, everybody, please make your way into the chapel. We'll be starting in just a minute. Please move to the front as much as possible.
Bro, what the fuck? Hi, is this you taking?
It is, buddy.
Oh, thank you. That was some W Riz.
Okay, yo, what are the subtitles?
Pardon me?
That was some W Riz.
W. Ritz?
Yeah.
What's that?
You. How you doing?
Have you seen this event before?
No, it's my first time. I'm losing my virginity.
This is the one event, not like any other event you've ever seen before.
It kind of like turns you on.
It answers why.
Oh, it's like porn.
Dude, he doesn't give a fuck, and that's the problem. Like, you're gonna get kicked out if you say some shit.
Yeah, it's at the hub.
Yeah.
This is quite the honor, and it was for his contributions for handling salvaging the fourth dynamic.
The fourth dynamic
So,
is mankind.
Yes, sir. Oh my God.
I saw him up
There's cyanide in that sandwich. I wouldn't eat that.
earlier. He had this great big check. I think he just gave $10 million to this group.
I wish I had bread like that.
There it is.
Different times, different places. But
Brother.
what we do know, in order to be...
Durf just texted me, bro, I'm so What the Bro, he said, bro, I'm so He just read my message. I don't know what's about to happen right now, bro. He's eating this fucking sandwich.
years, I've been in Washington, D.C. many times.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I was gonna sneak out of the ceremony, but I had to find the most perfect window.
Are you here for the event?
Oh, bathroom break. Little girl's room, you know.
What?
I'm just saying, if you guys
Testing? Oh, like scripture texting.
Oh, fast, my heart is beeping right now. Wow.
Wait, do Scientologists have a, like, scripture? How do you spell Scientologist? Shut up. Yeah, they do. Okay, so they do take tests on it.
I was so scared. Absolutely petrified. I knew I was in deep. And I also knew I was just going to be going deeper. So I simply did what anybody else would have done in my position.
That's not TOS, right? No, it's not. It can't be. It's blurred out. I think we're good.
I double checked all my gear. Made sure that there was 0 loose ends. What I was about to do, I had no room for error.
Okay, the pen camera is not tech. I'm gonna be honest. The pen camera is way too fucking obvious.
It was officially time to start the initiation. I just so happened to run into the person who was running all of it.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so you guys are offering, what is it, personality tests?
Yeah, you never take one?
No, take my virginity.
Welcome.
Let's go.
What the gang? You can't be saying shit like that.
Go.
You're gonna get kicked out.
Take a seat.
So like, should I drop my pants or?
No. Keep
Oh.
your pants on.
What the fuck is this guy doing? Oh my god.
Well done. Okay.
Morning. Sorry,
Oh, it's okay.
a little sickness.
Okay, so let me explain how this works. You have 200 questions. You
Okay.
read the question, and you have 3 optional answers.
So it's kind of like straight, bisexual, gay.
It's a yes, no, maybe.
All right,
Tell
perfect.
me again your name.
Durf.
Durf.
All
Okay,
right.
Durf.
All right, I'm gonna get this shit cooking.
Exactly.
You know, with Fred in there by himself, I admit I was scared as shit. But what made it worse was the research I did when I went in. 75 million years ago, there was a galactic federation of different planets which was ruled by an alien space lord, Xenu.
What the fuck is this guy on about?
Xenu felt that his federation was overpowered.
Oh, wait. No, this is what we learned about in the last video.
So he
This is genuinely what they believe in. They're the dumbest motherfuckers ever.
rounded up tons of aliens and countless planets and froze their freaking bodies. Xenu kidnapped all of his fellow aliens and took them to our planet, Earth. Xenu, along with all his space cruisers, dumped all of his frozen alien bodies into the volcanoes of Hawaii. After aliens have died, their souls floated up to the sky, but Xenu didn't want their spirits to get away, so he built a giant soul catchers in the sky. The souls were taken into ginormous facilities which was built to brainwash these vast alien souls. The aliens were freed into the world and decided to possess the early Homo sapiens, which today causes all of our emotions. Y'all hear this?
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so that isn't a joke. That's genuinely what people who are in Scientology believe in. It is the dumbest fucking concept I've ever heard.
This shit. I am Christmas treeing.
Ain't no way I was gonna do all that. That was 200 questions. But eventually when it ended, she came and she rated me by scores.
So this is your graph. Whatever you see in this area, you don't want. This is the...
Oh, there's a lot of it.
But you see, it's way better to know than not to know.
Yeah.
Do you know where you are? This is Scientology.
One person that helps me is Juice WRLD. Have you ever heard of like All Girls Are the Same?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of this?
Oh, I'm not into music that much, but... And that plays in your head?
Why is he blurring her face, bro? Air that bitch out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I understand that it has happened. Yeah.
It's like Randy Orton, voices in my head.
Yeah. So, but let me tell you, how often do you experience these ups and downs?
Frankly, every day.
Is there someone in your life that opposes you?
My ex.
Your ex?
Yeah.
What's happening?
She cheated on me back in 2020.
And you're still in communication with her?
She's like my booty call.
Your what?
Like booty call.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is so awful. This is so fucking terrible.
Like,
what is going on?
Degrades me.
Then your mom is right. Find another girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a good-looking man. So.
Thank you. That's part of why I got cheated on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was having way too much fun with this. But I had to.
Really?
The main reason why I was there was to get initiated. And for that to happen, I had to go through a spiritual process they call auditing.
My buddy James, one of like the only things he said is like there's something called AIDS.
Auditing.
Oh, AIDS.
Auditing.
Oh.
Gang!
Auditing.
Oh, so AIDSing. So like, you know.
No, AIDS is something else.
Oh, AIDS. All right.
This auditing is $125.
How do you not laugh while saying this shit? I would not be able to keep a straight face.
Come back tomorrow. Do you work tomorrow?
I think I can squeeze it on my lunch break.
I was in. Actually, I was in. I had that auditing appointment set up for the next day, and just like that, I was one step closer to my mastermind plan. All right. What do you think of the fit? Undercover fit? All right. Well, I'm ready.
Go to the audit.
I'm ready, bro. I'm gonna. Yeah, I was.
Is it 5 in the morning?
I did not come this far just to come this far. I was gonna go in, play their games, and get what I came for. The audit.
How's it going? Good?
Good.
Okay, so let's do it. It's $125
Oh.
for 5 hours, and then you're ready to go in. You're...
Yeah, I come strapped.
You can... And what's your last name?
Or nothing.
RNUTHIN?
Yeah, Durf or nothing.
Everything was going smooth. Nobody suspected a thing.
Only thing left was just a few regulations.
So we're gonna wrap up just some of the administrative things and then we'll get you right in session, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Wonderful, please have a seat. We just have a couple release forms, okay? Okay. So I kind of pre-filled some stuff for you to make it faster if that's okay.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Ain't no way they just put my name down as dirt for nothing. I'm just saying, like at this point, like this is fun. Like this is fun for me. This is like a goddamn field day.
So just need your signature here and an address. Ooh, fancy pen. Look at that.
Thank you. Oh, Amazon.
Amazon, nice.
I'll work wonders with my pens.
Right? I'm pretty sure it goes over you're not like taking any drugs or anything like that.
So it's kind of like on some like GTA love, it's just wasted, like that kind of stuff.
I mean, you don't wanna be taking much of anything, honestly.
He actually had a good point there, but then things started to escalate for the worst. They just told me to follow them, so I did.
Yeah, he's about to get crucified.
Asked for more ways to create, so we made a major update. Sleeve printing is now.
No, the crucifixion probably doesn't happen till like level 5. This guy's at level 1 still.
You may choose a seat.
Thank you.
What the fuck?
I'm gonna go right above you. This projector is on.
So, Dirk, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Did I say it right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we're gonna show you a couple films, right? That's going to show you what you're going to experience.
They can 100% see into that room while you're in there. He's about to do some stupid shit, and they're gonna know.
When you go into sessions. Oh, sorry.
I'm a little scared, not gonna lie. I'm scared.
Ew.
I was in there for hours. I couldn't leave. Nope. I just had to sit there and watch whatever they were showing me with no privacy.
Okay, sir. This next one I think is a little longer.
There's multiple.
Good. I'm being honest. I have like cotton mouth. Can I have like a glass of water?
Yeah. So let's get you some water before we start the next one.
All right, Pat. Guys, they're literally showing movies. Thank you so much. You know, I thought asking for water would give me enough alone time to vlog, but god damn, that motherfucker was like Lightning McQueen.
Okay, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. All right, we're gonna start the next one.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
There's 3.
What? The f? Oh, hell no. After watching even more movies, it was finally time. It was time to live up to the moment that I've been waiting for through this whole entire process. I finally had the opportunity to prank the initiation.
You don't have your phone with you?
Correct.
Okay, good. Just start with, how old are you? 21. 21? All right, and...
Can you do something for me?
What's that?
Like, it's 21.
Okay. Yeah. Have you had any, particular, like, losses in your life?
It all started in 2020. I had a girlfriend, and she cheated on me.
Wow.
Yeah. And, I just have to admit it, like, another hoe got me tripping.
Okay. Cool. We'll just go with that then. We'll just dive right in when you get in session then. Close your eyes, and your eyes are going to be closed for the duration of the session.
Okay, so I'm keeping these closed.
Okay. When I utter the word canceled, everything which I've said to you while you're in a therapy session will be canceled and will have no force with you.
Do you think this guy has any sort of credentials to be doing something like this? Like, either he has no credentials and he's just a therapist for Scientology, or he does have credentials and he's also fallen for the Scientology bullshit.
You two in your mind, go to that moment of loss. What's the first scene? The first thing you know that something's not right here.
When I see my older brother, like, getting a kill streak.
Okay.
Because, like, if he's doing good in Black Ops 2, something was up. Because, like, he sucks.
Okay. So what's he sound like?
Fuck you, motherfucker. Suck my c***, motherfucker.
Got it. What do you feel? Tell me what's happening.
Like, horny.
What What?
I was horny. And then I see my brother screaming, "Get shit on! Get shit on! Get shit on! Get shit on! Get shit on!"
All right, let's move through this and tell me what's going on.
Okay.
What's happening?
I'm having like a memory block right now. It's like I'm in the dream world.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's go back to the beginning.
Dude, dude, if I'm this guy, I think you're on drugs or something. Like, I'm not sitting through this.
Go over it again. Pick up whatever additional data you can contact.
Oh, you reminded me.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at my brother, and I was like,
Okay.
It's like a,
What happened?
It was like a sign of dominance. Like I did that, and I thought he'd be scared.
It's fine.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's like a little detail.
No. Let's get the details. That's what we're looking for.
Okay. I was just like,
Fuck you, motherfucker. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck you. 360 no scope. Fuck you.
What did you feel?
Betrayal.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So, I want you to go back to the beginning.
Oh.
Can you contact that feeling that you had right then?
And how would I contact that?
Can you re-experience that now?
Okay, I'm currently back in that moment.
Okay. And what do you feel?
We pranked the initiation, and I'm just saying, I think we did a pretty good job for ourselves. But I'm not gonna lie, whenever I take a dub, I like to email on the way out. Therefore, I was gonna go back to the building and simply let them know what happened.
You can do this.
I'm really scared for what he's about to do.
Well, guys, the moment we've been waiting for. The big buildup has led to this moment.
Hello.
Hey.
Are you guys public?
Oh no, I was gonna let you know that you guys got pranked. What the hell?
Bring another guard here. You guys are filming.
He's been following us around too.
Sign in, please. Sorry.
Get him. Hey, you can't film in here? I'm gonna be honest. I'm on both teams.
Stop filming.
Hey.
I'm on both teams.
Okay, sir, you're gonna have to turn that off.
I'm not gonna lie. This was like the hardest emote I've ever done on a Victor Royale. I literally went
What
to
am
tell
I
my
watching
pranker,
right now?
And then I did it again. Should we escort him out?
Yes, thank you. Please do. Okay, good. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I got you, man.
Sir, this is private property. You have to step off the property.
He doesn't like to listen.
Cállate la boca! It's alright.
Hey, over there, he was following us around too.
He's following you?
Yeah, or all of us.
Okay.
It's like he's some sort of prankster.
That's alright.
Yeah, I'm the honest
This
guy.
guy just turned on his own fucking cameraman, bro.
We are with him. Like, we pranked you guys, and like, this is just prank part 2. All right, see, hey, good game. Good game. Good game.
Have a good day.
Oh my God, bro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not only did we prank them, we pranked them again. Think about it, that's 2-0. That's some 2-0 type shit right there.
Okay.
I mean, I'll tell you, like, does that matter?
I mean, kinda, yeah, I was just curious.
We go to college.
But locally or where?
Driftopia, south of Miami.
Alright, cool.
I'm gonna hit the dash.
Sorry?
I'm gonna hit the dash.
You're fine.
And I respect you guys.
Okay.
Almost got pranked the 3rd time. Dude, I mean, it was just good. Oh, shit. Yo. Oh, we're just auditors. Get it? Like First Amendment auditors.
All right, here we go.
Well, guys, this W just turned into a...
So I was actually talking to them.
Yeah.
You guys actually went inside the building?
No comment.
Okay. So he's saying you guys went inside the building. All right. What they're gonna do is they're just gonna trespass you from their property.
But the thing is, that's how they get our names, and like, he might be reading my IP address as we speak.
Can you grab him real quick so we can get this done with?
Oh, hell no. We're not detained, so we're just gonna leave. I know you guys understand that, but like, you guys know the drill.
You guys still parked over behind, across from the police station there?
No comment.
Okay.
Guys, it's not that serious, for real. It's not that serious. Like, we just had to go and like let them know that we had the dub. That's all it was.
Well, what happened?
No comment.
Rage baiting cops is also funny as fuck. Security guards are more fun because for some reason security guards have more of an ego than cops do. But rage baiting both of them is so fun.
Fifth Amendment's been appealed.
What's that?
Nothing.
Please.
All right.
Oh my God. Well guys, and that's how it ended. Classic fairy tale storybook ending. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me. Oh, and before I forget, I just dropped these.
Every single Scientology video I've watched, they don't actually expose anything. This guy just took a test and watched 3 movies and then just trolled the staff. I want to know shit, dude. I want to know what's going on in there.
Get them now while you can. I'm not going to be selling them forever. So just...
Okay, whatever. Next video, insane conspiracy theories that turned out true. This one should be fun. It's 26 minutes. Lock in.
A secret government experiment turned animals into spies. A lie about food created...
I'm sorry? Wait, crows, right? It's birds?
A global crisis, and powerful men were caught performing strange rituals in the woods. These stories sound like nonsense. Many people didn't believe them, then the truth came out.
Yeah, it's 2026. I believe every single one that you just listed.
Today we're diving into insane conspiracy theories that were true all along. We'll begin with the strange cases and work our way to the most shocking. Our goal, guys, is 2.5 million subscribers by the end of my best to put out the best videos I can for you. I'm Visual Venture and you are awesome. The animal spy conspiracy. During the Cold War, the US and Soviet Union spied on each other. That's no secret, but there's one bizarre conspiracy theory from that period. People claimed the CIA tried to turn animals into spies. It sounded crazy, but declassified documents proved it actually happened. In the early 1960s, being a CIA spy meant risking your life. Anyone caught spying in the Soviet Union could be executed. The CIA wanted to spy without putting agents in danger, so they came up with a strange idea. Stop relying on human agents. That was where cats came in. The CIA realized cats could go anywhere without drawing attention. That made them perfect spies. So the agency launched Project Acoustic Kitty. The goal was simple: turn a cat into a walking listening device. Surgeons would implant a microphone, a radio transmitter, and an antenna into the cat's body. The idea was that the cat would move near a target, the mic would capture the conversation, and the transmitter would send the audio to the CIA. On paper, it sounded smart. In real life, it was chaos. Implanting those devices into a living creature was tricky. It took months
to... also, how do you know that you can trust the cat to get to the right spot? Like, it seems a little shaky.
Figure out. One report said they made a monstrosity. At that point, it was time to train the cat. But a new problem came up. The cat was hard to control. During training, it kept wandering off and chasing birds. It also kept stopping to look for food. Even so, the agency decided the spy cat was ready. It was time for a real mission.
Wherever you are,
dude, this just doesn't even this seems like such an inefficient way to spy on people. Like, if you're gonna want to, spy on another country in the middle of a war, why the fuck would you ever think to use a cat? That just seems so inefficient. That's so stupid.
The CIA released the spy cat near the Soviet embassy in Washington, D.C. Two men were sitting on a nearby park bench. Agents wanted the cat to get close enough to record the conversation. They released the cat. It stepped into the street. Then a taxi hit it. The mission was over before it even began. By then, the agency already spent about $20 million on the project. That's
fucking god!
Roughly $170 million today. But they decided to...
honestly, that's like pocket change for the CIA. Though.
Quietly shut it down. One memo said the project was not practical.
Wow, who's that genius? Who would have caught on to that?
However, the agency didn't give up on the idea of animal spies. Instead, they tried something even stranger. By the early 1970s, CIA engineers came up with a new plan. If real animals were too hard to control, they would build a machine that looked like one. That idea became the insectothopter. It was a tiny drone built to look like a dragonfly. It had a tiny engine that powered the wings. A microphone was hidden in the head, and operators could control it remotely. By 1976, the CIA had a working prototype.
Holy shit.
This is the first flight of the insect-sized unmanned aerial vehicle called Insectothopter.
Why are we
Flight
filming
tests
it?
were impressive.
The plan was for it to fly close to a target and record conversations. Once again, it didn't work well in real life. The drone was extremely light. That meant even a small breeze could push it off course. Agents struggled to keep it steady long enough to record anything useful. Eventually, the project was abandoned.
Yeah,
the
but they
Acoustic Kitty
I thought they tried using birds, no?
Insectothopter projects remained classified for decades. People talked about them, but no one could confirm they were real. Then in the early 2000s, 2000s, the CIA declassified some documents. That was when the truth finally became public. In 2003, the CIA put
I like how the CIA doesn't declassify literally anything that's helpful to society. They just declassify the shit that never actually worked.
Insectothopter prototype on display in its museum. The company in our next chapter secretly did something to millions of their own customers and didn't tell anyone. The Batterygate conspiracy. For years, iPhone users noticed a frustrating pattern. Whenever Apple released a new iPhone, the older models seemed to get slower. Many users believed Apple was doing this on purpose.
This one's true. I knew this shit was true. I knew it was.
To push them to buy the latest iPhone. People thought this theory was crazy, and if you believed it, you were just paranoid. Then in 2017, something happened, and suddenly you didn't seem so crazy after all. That year, Apple released a software update called iOS 10.2.1. After users installed it, complaints started pouring in. Users with older iPhones said their batteries were acting strangely. A phone might show a 30% battery, then suddenly drop to 1%. Seconds later, the phone would shut down. People complained all over social media. They were confused, frustrated, and demanded answers, but Apple didn't respond. So one man decided to look into it himself. John Poole was a software developer. He noticed that people were complaining about their iPhones. His wife was one of them.
My wife just offhand mentioned that her iPhone 6S felt slow, and the numbers that we got out of it were significantly lower than what I'd expect from a phone like that.
Poole knew enough about phones to analyze the situation.
It was sort of a eureka moment, and that's what prompted me to really take a deep dive into our database of performance data and see what was happening.
He ran performance tests on older iPhones and compared the results to newer ones. What he found was hard to ignore. Older iPhones running newer versions of iOS had lower performance scores, but it was only happening to phones with older batteries. After analyzing everything, he reached one unsettling conclusion. Apple was deliberately slowing down older iPhones. Poole published his findings on his blog on December 2017. Millions read it and they were furious. For the first time, the old joke about Apple slowing phones down didn't feel like a joke anymore. Now Apple had to answer for it. Just 2 days after Poole's blog went viral, Apple released a statement.
Apple confirms it slows down the performance of older iPhones to reduce power demands.
The company admitted it was slowing down older phones, but it said there was a good reason for it. As iPhones get older, so do their batteries. Older batteries can't handle power the way they used to. If an older battery is pushed too hard, the phone might shut down or crash. To prevent that from happening, Apple added software that reduced the processor speed on older models. But that explanation didn't calm customers down. The problem wasn't just the slowdown. The problem was that Apple kept it hidden. Soon lawsuits began piling up.
So far, 2 lawsuits have been filed in Los Angeles and Illinois, claiming those suing never consented to allow Apple to slow their older iPhones.
Apple was sued in the US, Canada, Israel, and several European countries. Attorneys said Apple acted deceptively by hiding the shutdown and slowdown issues. In 2020, Apple agreed to settle the lawsuits. The company reportedly paid about $500 million. Every iPhone user included in the lawsuit received a little less than $100. But as part of the deal, Apple did not admit to breaking any laws or any other wrongdoing. Today, Apple's more transparent about battery performance. The company also added a new feature that shows battery health. Up next is the story of a product.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all a money game. I mean, there's not much I can say about that. It's just a big company wanting more money.
That millions of people bought without knowing it was a death trap. The Ford Pinto conspiracy. The Ford Pinto is remembered as one of the most dangerous cars ever. Even a small crash could make it burst into flames. Many people ended up in the emergency room. The conspiracy theory was that Ford themselves knew the cars were going to explode, but they hid that information and sold it anyway. That was a serious accusation, but the truth was even worse.
Loki, that car's ugly as fuck. I don't even know why. I don't even know why they would have released, like, why would they hide that and then still release that god-awful car?
The Ford Motor Company was in trouble. Other car companies were selling smaller, cheaper vehicles, and Ford needed something that could compete. So the CEO told engineers to build a car that was cheap, small, and fuel efficient. Those targets were difficult, but not impossible. The real problem was time. Designing a new car normally took 43 months. Ford engineers were given only 25. That deadline forced them to rush the design process. The result was the Ford Pinto. Eventually, it was time for crash testing, which is standard for any new car. Engineers Engineers wanted to see what would happen if the Pinto crashed. When the Pinto was hit from behind, the gas tank ruptured. Fuel spilled, sparks flew, and then boom, the Pinto burst into flames. Ford crash tested the car over 40 times. The same problem occurred. When the Pinto was rear-ended, the car caught fire. The problem came from the car's design. Engineers placed the gas tank right behind the rear bumper. Despite the obvious danger, Ford moved ahead with production. Thousands of Pintos.
I should have gotten Grace in here for this, because I don't know shit about cars. I don't know what to say about this.
Were built and sold. It was an instant hit.
When I bought my Pinto, I figured it was a good value, but I didn't know how good until my dad started borrowing it. So I ended up buying my own.
Then I bought one, and I bought one.
And I bought one.
Millions of Americans bought one. They had no idea they were getting into a death trap. Not long after the Pinto hit the road, the disasters began. Drivers reported the same terrifying pattern. Another car would hit them from behind. Then the Pinto would burst into flames. It happened again and again. Too often to be a coincidence. Some victims began to act.
Don't Teslas do the same thing? I see a lawsuit coming.
Did Ford already know this could happen? Ford said there was no problem. The Pinto met all safety standards. Even so, some victims filed lawsuits. Those cases went to trial in the mid-1970s, and the Pinto case became a national story. As the trial got more attention, one reporter decided to dig deeper. He got access to Ford's internal company records. What he found was alarming. The document showed that Ford engineers already knew the car could explode, but that wasn't the worst part. Once the accidents began, Ford had another chance to act. The company thought about recalling every Pinto and fixing the issue, but executives felt it would be too expensive. Recalling and fixing every Pinto would cost $137 million.
Bitch, you're only putting in 10 mil. You can't scrape up 10 mil. It's a fucking car company. Oh my god. It's so gross. Stop looking at the camera, you weirdo. Go fuck.
They estimated that settling victims' lawsuits would cost about $50 million. So the company decided it was cheaper to let people get hurt. In September...
Okay. So you know the car fucking explodes whenever it gets rear-ended, and you think that the sales are more worth it than people's lives. Like, how are the people running these companies? Like, how could you possibly think that way?
In 1977, the reporter went public with his findings. His article was titled Pinto Madness. TV networks, newspapers picked up the story. Now, the conspiracy theory no longer sounded crazy. Ford knew the car was dangerous and sold it anyway. In total, 117 families sued Ford over the Pinto. The company paid more than $100 million to settle the cases. In June 1978, Ford finally recalled 1.5 million Ford Pintos. Engineers made the necessary changes to prevent explosions. No one knows exactly how many people passed away in Pinto fires. Some estimates put the number in the hundreds. Others say it was much lower. But whatever the true number was, it was far too many. Up next is the story of an industry that quietly rewrote the rules of nutrition, and millions of people paid the price.
What?
The big sugar conspiracy.
Oh.
For years, doctors said eating fatty foods caused heart disease, but some scientists believed the wrong food was getting blamed. To them, sugar was the real danger. As they dug deeper, they uncovered a dark conspiracy to bury the truth. It involved bribes, intimidation, and even fake research. In the late 1950s, thousands of Americans were passing away from heart attacks. Doctors and researchers were trying to figure out why. In 1965, a nutritionist suggested that too much sugar might be the reason.
We started to wonder late in the 1950s whether sugar might be a culprit in the increase in heart disease.
The sugar industry was alarmed by that theory. Americans were consuming more sugar than ever before. It was in soft drinks, candy, and desserts. If the public blamed sugar for heart disease, the industry could lose billions. To protect their business...
I mean, isn't sugar the reason why the obesity rate in America is so high? Oh, they label it as like high, processed foods. Okay. Fructose corn syrup and large portion sizes. Dude, oh my gosh, hold on, wait. McDonald's American portion. And then look up, let's just do like Britain. Britain McDonald's McDonald's portion. Dude, if we go to images, it's fucking insane. Hold on. Yeah. What the fuck? The large for America is 400 milliliters bigger than a large in the UK. Like, this is fucking insane. Our government, I think, is just deliberately making America more fat so that to like as a form of manipulation to us.
They needed to shift the blame, and they knew exactly how to do it. There was a group called the Sugar Research Foundation. It was dedicated to the scientific study of sugar's role in food. On the surface, the group looked neutral and trustworthy, but behind the scenes, it was run by people who made money selling sugar. They wanted people to keep eating sugar even if it was harming their health. So in July 1965, the Sugar Research Foundation contacted a researcher at Harvard University. They asked him to write a study on the cause of heart disease, but there was a catch. The paper needed to downplay the dangers of sugar and shift the blame to fatty foods. The foundation paid the researcher tens of thousands of dollars. Back then, scientists didn't have to reveal who funded their work, so the public never knew about the deal. In 1967, the Harvard researcher published his paper. It said that cutting fat out of your diet was the best way to avoid heart disease. And because the study came from Harvard, people trusted it. Almost no one knew that the sugar industry paid for this study. Sugar executives were thrilled. One of them even wrote to the researcher, "Let me assure you, this is quite what we had in mind." Over time, the idea that fatty foods alone caused heart disease became widely accepted. A few years later, the US government released dietary guidelines.
Okay, great. Wait, were you even listening?
It's all a fucking money game, dude. Like, everything's just a money game. I hate this country.
It told Americans to cut back on saturated fat, especially red meat. Many people followed that advice without cutting sugar. Many Americans switched to low-fat products. Food companies advertised low-fat yogurt, snacks, and dessert.
Who would do it right? Hard to believe it's got less fat.
But many of these low-fat foods had extra sugar for flavor, so people ended up consuming even more sugar than before. Over time, the health problems worsened. That confused a lot of doctors. Some scientists questioned the old research on fat and sugar, but there was still no proof that the study was manipulated. It took nearly 50 years for the truth to come out. In 2009, a researcher was studying the history of nutrition science. Her name was Kristen Kearns. While going through Harvard records, she found letters between Harvard researchers and the Sugar Research Foundation.
The first folder that I pulled out opened up to a memo, the blue letterhead of the Sugar Association, and it had the word confidential.
Those letters proved that the sugar industry funded the research and probably influenced the results. In September 2016, Kearns published what she found. It shocked the world.
New this morning, Bay Area researchers are accusing the sugar industry of some unsavory behavior.
Believe me, I've been reading this for the past...
What the fuck is with news channels and throwing shitty dad jokes into, like, serious situations?
Couple of days, like, oh my God!
What did you think? We shaped our notion of healthy diets for decades on this. Don't ever eat fat, sugar, no problem.
By then, the researchers who wrote the paper were no longer alive, but the Sugar Research Foundation still existed. It now went by a new name, the Sugar Association. When people confronted the group, it denied doing anything wrong. It admitted it funded the research, but insisted it didn't influence the results. Even so, it was too late to undo the damage. For decades, people ate foods packed with sugar, and many paid the price with their health. That was a lie that lasted 50 years, all because the sugar industry wanted to protect their profits. This next chapter is about a secret military operation so unbelievable, the government denied it ever happened. The weather control conspiracy. Have you ever heard anyone say that the government can control the weather? It sounds like...
This shit is true? Brother, when was this posted? 1 month ago. Okay, yeah. No, yeah. Everything, dude, so many random things are like being proven to be true, like right now.
kind of thing only paranoid people would believe. But that idea didn't come from nowhere. In the 1960s, the United States was fighting in Vietnam, but the war wasn't going well. One major problem was the Vietnamese Army's supply network. Their soldiers had secret roads running through the jungle. They used these routes to move food, weapons, and troops. As long as supply routes stayed open, it was much harder for the US to win. The US wanted to shut them down, but there were too many hidden roads to find and block. Then the military noticed something. Whenever heavy rain fell, the roads turned into mud. Trucks got stuck and people struggled to move through it. That made moving supplies much harder for Vietnamese forces. That gave the US an idea. If they could make it rain all the time, the enemy would have a much harder time moving supplies through the jungle. Controlling the weather sounded like science fiction, but the government had a reason to believe it was possible. Years earlier, a chemist named Vincent Schaefer ran some weather experiments. Schaefer flew over New York and dropped 3 pounds of dry ice into a cloud. Within minutes, the cloud began producing snow. He called it cloud seeding, and it proved that humans might be able to influence the weather. During the Vietnam War, the military decided to try it. It was called Operation Popeye.
The goal of Operation Popeye was to extend the monsoon season and create an inordinate amount of rainfall by seeding clouds.
Air Force planes were loaded with canisters of silver iodide. The planes flew into storm clouds and released them. The silver iodide triggered more rainfall. The extra rain turned roads into mud. Some paths even flooded. Moving supplies became much harder for Vietnamese forces. The mission was a success. For 5 years, the US military kept doing it.
They flew over 2,600 missions from a period of 1966 to 1972.
And they kept the operation top secret. But secrets like that don't stay hidden forever. In March 1970...
Yo, that's fucking smart as shit. Yo, they were moving different during Vietnam.
A reporter of the Washington Post exposed the operation. He revealed how the military was using the weather as a weapon of war. The public was shocked. Lawmakers were angry that they were never informed. The defense secretary was called before Congress to explain himself, but he denied everything. He called the claims wild tales. That denial only made things worse because reporters kept digging. In July 1972...
Okay, but like, why would they tell the public? Because wouldn't that just spread to whoever they're fighting? Like, if we air out the tricks that we're doing in a war, wouldn't they catch on to it?
Another reporter published a story in the New York Times. It was titled, "Rainmaking is Used as Weapon by US." This time, the evidence was much stronger. The reporter had spoken with people involved in the operation. Now the story was no longer just a rumor. The defense secretary and military officials were summoned to a secret Senate hearing. They were asked about the project again, and they finally admitted the truth.
In Albion, no matter where you go or what you do,
Making
your mouth
fucking
will
bank
accompany
off
you on
me.
your journey. Perhaps you'll pick...
That raised a disturbing question. If one country could use weather as a weapon, what would happen if other countries did the same? It could destabilize the climate, disrupt food supply, and create other serious problems.
Oh, shit.
World leaders didn't want that to happen. So by 1977, world leaders signed an agreement banning the use of weather as a weapon. Today, over 70 countries have signed that treaty. As far as we know, no country has weaponized the weather since. However, cloud seeding never stopped. It's still used for farming and weather-related needs.
Okay, but also, like, if they just randomly did it, would anyone know? I mean, it's fucking rain. Like, when was this? 1970? Yeah, dude, 50 years later, if we did this now, like, no one would really know.
So the weather control conspiracy theory turned out to be true. The leader in our next chapter believed the government was his enemy, so he decided to destroy it from the inside. The science...
Yeah, the government is our energy. That guy's energy. I'm just gonna stop talking.
Conspiracy. The Church of Scientology has been accused of...
Oh, shit! I was not expecting this. Okay, hold on. Lock in. Everyone lock in.
Things, including being a cult, but one claim stood out from the rest. People said the church was doing illegal things to silence its enemies.
There's no fucking way they're not. Every single window is blocked off. The lights are off. No one says anything to anyone in media, except for people who were previously in Scientology. There is no way they're not doing illegal shit in there.
And manipulate the government. So were these conspiracy theories true? But to understand why millions
I've never heard anything about manipulating the government.
people believe this church is dangerous, we have to go back to where it all started. The Church of Scientology began in 1953. It was founded by a science fiction writer named L. Ron Hubbard. It said Scientology was a religion that could help people unlock their full potential.
Read Scientology, The Fundamentals of Thought by L. Ron Hubbard. Your search is over, but the adventure's just begun.
That message attracted thousands of followers, but as Scientology grew, so did the controversy around it. Former members accused the church of extortion and harassment. By the mid-1960s, the complaints were too many to ignore. The US government started investigating Scientology's internal practices, and what they found was troubling. Large amounts of church money were going straight to the founder, Hubbard. He was running it less like
who would have fucking thought?
A religion and more like a business. So the government revoked Scientology's tax-exempt status. Other countries went even further.
The state of Victoria in Australia has passed a law making it a criminal offence for anyone to demand or receive payment for the pseudo-medical practice of Scientology.
Hubbard was furious. He believed the government was targeting him unfairly. He gave interviews defending Scientology.
Why do they just fight it and say there's something bad, but they never specify what's bad? They haven't specified. For instance, right now they say we're breaking up marriages. Right, that's a lie.
But instead of fighting back in court, Hubbard came up with a much darker plan. He would attack the government from within. In 1973, Hubbard launched Operation Snow White. The mission was simple. Scientology wanted to infiltrate government offices and erase every damaging file about the church. To do that, Hubbard created a network of spies. They made Scientology members apply for jobs in government agencies. They targeted places like the IRS and the Department of Justice. Once they got hired,
He's pretty smart. He's an asshole and he's taking advantage of people, but that's kind of a smart move.
The spies searched for files on Scientology. Then they stole those files or destroyed them. Sometimes they swapped real records with fake ones that made the church look harmless. The operation was led by Hubbard's wife, Mary Sue. She trained Scientologists to become spies. They learned how to forge IDs and manipulate people. For 5 years, the plan worked. Scientology infiltrated 136 government agencies in 30 countries. But the church was not just stealing files. They were also going after anyone who criticized them. Hubbard kept a list of the church's enemies. Paulette Cooper was at the top of that list. In 1972, she published a book titled The Scandal of Scientology.
Can I still buy this book? Hold on. I may or may not buy this book. I'm clicking on the wrong tab. Hold on, I'm sorry. Give me a second. The Scandal of Scientology. Oh, I'm buying the book. It's in my cart. Okay, back to the video. My bad.
It was one of the first books to openly criticize the church. Scientology church leaders hated her for it, so they decided to ruin her life.
They sued me 19 times all over the world, put me through 50 days of depositions. They sent a lot of horrible anonymous smear letters about me.
It's like a do not disturb setting.
How is all of this public knowledge and then there's still people that follow Scientology?
Then they decided to frame her for a crime.
They stole my stationery. They got my fingerprint on a piece of paper, and then they sent bomb threats to themselves.
Scientologists got a paper with Paulette's fingerprints. Then they used that paper to send device threats to their own church. After that, they reported the threats to the FBI themselves. To investigators, it looked like she was guilty. Paulette was arrested and charged. If
Holy
convicted,
shit.
she could spend years behind bars. The Scientologists were celebrating. However, their entire operation was about to fall apart. In May 1976, 2 Scientology spies broke into a courthouse in Washington, D.C. They were were trying to steal more documents, but the plan failed. A security guard caught them using forged IDs. Federal agents traced those fake IDs back to Scientology. So in July 1977, FBI agents raided Scientology offices. They seized about 100,000 stolen government documents. They also uncovered files that exposed Operation Snow White. Those files showed that Scientology framed Paulette Cooper too.
They found something that said along the line of conspired to frame Miss Lovely, which was the code name that Hubbard gave to me.
11 high-ranking Scientology officials were convicted. Among them was Mary Sue, the wife of L. Ron Hubbard. She was sentenced to 5 years behind bars. But one
this guy's a fucking villain.
Figure avoided charges. L. Ron Hubbard himself. Investigators believed he directed the operation, but they could never prove it in court. After the convictions, Hubbard disappeared from public life. He spent the rest of his life paranoid and in hiding. Scientology still exists today, and it is still powerful. Its members include celebrities, lawmakers, and wealthy CEOs. Who knows how much more powerful it could have become if its spies stayed inside the government. This next chapter is about a secret club that most powerful people in the world don't want you to know about. The Secret Society Conspiracy. You've probably heard the theory that a secret group of rich and powerful men control the world, that they meet in
It's not a theory, it's BlackRock now.
private to decide wars, pick presidents, and shape major events. Most people brushed off this conspiracy theory as nonsense, but it turns out there's some truth to it. There's a
I mean, if you read like any sort of book or watch a movie, like whoever's in the camera is never the one pulling the actual strings, and that's where this theory comes from.
Forest in Northern California where powerful men really do meet in secret. Those men are members of the Bohemian Club. The club was formed in 1872 in San Francisco. At first, it was just a few dozen men talking about art, but over time, the club began to change. Businessmen, lawyers, and politicians joined. Within a few decades, the Bohemian Club was no longer mainly about creativity. It was about power. In the 1890s, the club built a private camp deep in the California redwoods. They called it Bohemian Grove. Every summer, members traveled there for a 2-week retreat. As the years passed, the guest list became more impressive. Multiple US presidents attended, but as the Grove got more powerful, it also became more exclusive and secretive.
You don't ask to join, they ask you. The whole thing is about excluding certain people, and other people get to go to this fancy retreat.
No one was allowed to take photographs. Journalists were banned from entering. Members followed one strict rule. What happened at Bohemian Grove stayed at Bohemian Grove. Naturally, this made people suspicious. What were these powerful men doing in secret? For decades, no one on the outside really knew. Then one journalist managed to get in. In July 1989, a journalist named Philip Weiss got inside Bohemian Grove. He planned to sneak in, but when he got there, security was much lighter than he expected, so he pretended to be a guest and stayed for 7 days. Weiss saw celebrities, politicians, and business executives. He heard discussions about major issues. It all seemed impressive. But on the first night, things went from impressive to bizarre. After dark, men in dark robes walked in a slow procession. They carried a coffin.
That. Yeah, the story's not worth it.
Then they placed it in front of the statue of an owl. The statue was 40 feet tall. Then they set the coffin on fire. The ceremony was called the cremation of care. Inside the coffin was a figure meant to represent the worries of everyday life. Burning it symbolized letting those worries go. When he got back to New York, Weiss wrote about what he saw. His article was published in Spy magazine, and it caused a sensation. For the first time, the public got a glimpse inside Bohemian Grove. The idea that world leaders were performing rituals in the woods sounded unbelievable, but it was happening. Bohemian Grove still operates today. Every summer, members gather in the forest. Cameras are still banned, journalists aren't allowed to enter, and the same rule still applies. What happens at Bohemian Grove stays at Bohemian Grove. So was the conspiracy theory true? What we know for sure is that they really do meet at Bohemian Grove. What they discuss, however, remains a mystery. Are they deciding the fate of the world? Bohemian Grove. What they discuss, however, remains a mystery. Are they deciding the fate of the world, or just spending time with friends? Governments, corporations, powerful organizations, they all made the same bet that the story reaching you would be the one they wanted you to hear. My friends, the most dangerous thing you can do is trust without question. Visual Venture. Speaking of dangerous organizations, I have a video about
That was a really good video. I actually learned something about Scientology for once. Oh my gosh, dude. This one video only had like a 6-minute section about Scientology, and I learned more from this than any of the other videos I've watched. That was a good video. We'll move on to the next one. The most disturbing internet footage iceberg. We might get jump scared.
In 2016, a YouTube channel uploaded 91 videos that looked like they were filmed by a serial killer. They contained dark, grainy footage of people being stalked, confined, and worse. The content was so convincing that viewers reported it to the FBI. Then, on one day, every single video disappeared. Today, we'll look at things that should have never been recorded in the first place. Some of the entries are just harmless art projects or creepypastas. Some are unsolved mysteries that nobody has ever cracked. And a few of them cost people their lives. Let's start at the tip. If you spent any time on the internet in the mid-2000s, there's a very good chance you've probably seen salad fingers. It's a green, tall figure with long fingers and a whispery voice. But most people only watched the first episode, then moved on, and still have no idea of how dark this series actually gets. Salad Fingers was created by British animator David Firth.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name
Already on some
just by
bullshit.
thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
The series follows a green-skinned character living alone in an empty, post-apocalyptic wasteland. He speaks in a very unsettling, whispery voice and has an obsession with rusty objects and the tactile sensation they provide. He interacts with finger puppets that he treats as real people, naming them and having full conversations with them. At first glance, it appears to be a very dark type of comedy,
Ew.
but when you keep looking further into the episodes, you'll find out something far more unsettling. Salad Fingers is traumatized. The series explores themes of isolation, dissociation, and the psychological aftermath of war. There are moments where the animation shifts into genuinely horrific imagery. David Firth has been making new episodes periodically since 2004, and he's still going. The later episodes get a lot darker than the earlier ones. If you've only ever seen the first episode, you've barely scratched the surface. And that makes it a perfect entry point for this iceberg. Kate Yap was a mukbang YouTuber. For those who don't know, mukbang is a style of content where someone eats large quantities of food on camera. Kate never showed her face. She wore a blindfold in every video and ate enormous amounts.
Was this the one that there was like a conspiracy theory about her being like kidnapped and forced to eat all the food?
Of crab, lobster, and shrimp in complete silence.
Low-key? I mean, hey, I get to eat plates of lobster and just be on YouTube. That doesn't sound like a terrible kidnapper.
At first, it was just another food channel, but then viewers started noticing things. In some videos, Kate appeared to have bruises on her hands and arms. In others, she seemed to tap the table in a pattern that people decoded as SOS in Morse code.
Oh shit.
And if you turned on captions, the first letters of certain sentences appeared to spell out the word help. The internet went wild, to say the least. People were convinced that Kate Yap was being held captive and was using her videos to send hidden distress signals. The theory spread everywhere, across Reddit, Twitter, YouTube commentary channels. Everyone had an opinion. Then, in November 2019, Kate Yap stopped uploading entirely, without any explanation. There was no goodbye video or any reason for her absence. For 3 years, nobody heard from her. She suddenly returned in 2022, posting a video saying she was fine and had simply taken a break from the internet. But the explanation satisfied almost nobody. Where did the bruises come from? Why was she tapping SOS in Morse code? And what about the hidden messages in the captions? Were those all just coincidences? Or was she told to come back and say everything was okay? The mystery has never been completely resolved.
What?
Kenny Veach was a hiker and YouTuber based
Oh, we
in
already
Las
learned
Vegas.
about this
He
one.
loved exploring the Mojave Desert, finding abandoned mines, strange caves, and remote military training grounds. He documented everything on his YouTube channel, where he would eventually build up a small but dedicated following. In one of his videos...
Should we skip this? I've already reacted to this, and I think the YouTube video is up. We'll skip this part. If you want to see my reaction to this, then you can go to the YouTube video. Skip this.
The video shows opinion this might even be one of the scariest cases on this list. Imagine going into a cave, experiencing something you can't explain, and never coming back out. And we're still just getting started. In 2015, a Swedish tech blog received a DVD in the mail, sent from Poland, without any return address. The name 11BX1371 was written on the disc with a permanent marker. When they played it, what they found was one of the most disturbing videos the internet has ever seen. The video shows a figure standing in an abandoned building, wearing a full plague doctor mask. For about 2 minutes, the figure stands still, sometimes making hand gestures. Distorted electronic sounds play in the background. It's very creepy to watch, but the real horror is hidden even deeper than you might expect. When analysts ran the audio through a spectrogram, which by the way is a tool that visualizes sound frequencies as images, they found hidden pictures embedded in the noise. They found images of encoded GPS coordinates pointing to the White House, and cryptographic puzzles layered on top of puzzles. Multiple teams of cryptographers and internet investigators have tried to fully decode it. In fact, some of the hidden messages have been solved. As it turns out, the production quality and layered encryption point to someone with serious technical knowledge, so this wasn't made by an amateur. The video was eventually traced back to a creator named Parker Warner Wright, and it turned out to be an art project, probably some kind of viral marketing campaign.
Yeah, Loki, that one just kind of seemed like something like just to troll the internet a little bit.
Oh, most analog horror is fiction. Someone creates fake VHS footage, adds some distortion, writes a creepy script and uploads it to YouTube.
Protect your dreams under our roof.
Isn't this the dream, Grandpa?
American Family Insurance.
Oh, two. Should I bend over now, or?
It's fun and it's often very creative, but Protect and Survive is different. Because Protect and Survive was the first one of its kind and it wasn't based on fiction, but something very real. Between 1975 and 1980, the British government produced a classified series of 20 short public information films. These were never intended for broadcast under normal circumstances. They were created to be aired on all television channels simultaneously if the government determined that a nuclear attack on the UK was likely within 72 hours. The films instruct civilians on how to build a fallout shelter out of doors and furniture, how to store water, how to seal your home against radioactive dust, and in the most disturbing segments, how to dispose of the bodies of family members. They deliver all this unsettling info over calm, sterile graphics, which is what makes it so disturbing. The series was never officially broadcast, but the material leaked to the public and became a piece of history in the UK. A lot of people compare Protect and Survive to analog horror, and I honestly get that. Really, all of it looks like analog horror before it was even a thing. In 2017, a YouTube channel posted a 5-hour video that ends with a teenage girl giving birth into a toilet, sobbing in Polish that she just brought a human curse into the world. The baby is dressed in a tiny version of John Arbuckle's shirt. An orange cat sits on the rim of the toilet, watching. The baby opens its eyes. The screen cuts to orange. And as you might have guessed, this is a Garfield parody, a pretty weird one. Lasagna Cat started back in 2008 as a comedy web series from a production company called Fatal Farm. They would take the daily Garfield comics, act them out shot for shot with real people in costumes, then slap some unhinged music video or skit on the end. It was funny, it was strange, and it picked up some traction on early YouTube. And then everyone kind of moved on. Then in 2017, after 9 years of silence, Fatal Farm came back, and whatever they put out was not the same thing. There had always been a darker streak running through the series, but the 2017 episodes went somewhere no one saw coming. In one of them, Odie cut his wrists. In another, John eats his own face and smears it across the walls before somebody cuts into his brain. And then there are the two final pieces. The first is called July 2017, 1978. It's an hour long and was made in one continuous take. It features John Blyth Barrymore delivering a monologue about how a single 3-panel Garfield strip, the one where Garfield steals John's pipe, changed his life and revealed the meaning of existence. For a full hour, Barrymore just sits there, breaking down this comic like it's the most important piece of art ever made. He's completely serious. And if you thought that was supposed to be the end, it definitely wasn't. The real final is called Sex Survey Results. It's over 5 hours long. Before they posted it, Fatal Farm set up a real number and told people to call in and say how many people they had slept with. Around 1,000 people actually called in. The video just plays all of those answers back to back to back. Garfield, John and Odie keep answering the door to these mannequins who turn the answers into knock-knock jokes for almost 5 hours. And the mannequins keep getting weirder and more messed up looking as it goes. Then in the last few minutes, it stops being funny. John opens the door and he's standing there looking at himself. The other John says he had 2 partners. The John inside laughs, says he had 0, and slams the door. The one left outside starts aging fast until he's an old man. He wanders through these strange dreamlike places. He finds a cat that passed away. It's Garfield, stuffed and lifeless. Then a guy painted head to toe to look like Garfield screams and starts sprinting toward him. He touches John. John disappears and his clothes fall to the ground. Where John once was are now worms and dirt. Then it cuts to a teenage girl alone in a bathroom stall, crying, giving birth. She looks down into the toilet and starts speaking in Polish. When you translate it, she's saying stuff like, "This child isn't mine. It came from darkness. I brought a curse into the world. My soul is going to be eaten and spit back out forever."
What the fuck is going on?
Is hell. Sounds pretty crazy, right? She leaves. The camera just stays on the toilet. There's a baby wearing a tiny version of John Arbuckle's clothes. An orange cat is sitting on the edge and watching. And then the baby opens its eyes. And that's how an apparently harmless Garfield parody took a turn for the worse.
Dude, that guy's just fucking unhinged.
Pronunciation.
Oh, okay. 5-hour video though, 3.1 million views. That guy made so much fucking money off of this channel.
Book appeared on YouTube in 2010 as exactly what the name suggests. A channel that teaches you how to pronounce English words. How to pronounce beautiful. How to pronounce necessary. Simple videos with a calm, male voice pronouncing a word.
Okay, deadass who... These have so many views. Actually, how do you say this? Whilst? Yeah, whilst. Okay, no, I don't even need the video.
But used in a sentence. There didn't seem to be anything weird or suspicious about it. For over 3 years, that's all it was. Hundreds of mundane pronunciation videos. Nobody ever thought twice about it. But on July 9th, 2013, the channel took a different turn. That day, the channel uploaded a video that didn't follow the format. Instead of a pronunciation guide, the voice said, "Something is going to happen in 77 days. The next day, something is going to happen in 76 days. And so on.
Something is going to happen in 77 days.
With each video, the messages became more cryptic like, "I'm awake now, but I can't move or speak. And they are not what they seem." The idea is that this consciousness had been trapped inside these mundane pronunciation videos for 3 years. And the countdown was its first real attempt to communicate. When it finally hit 0.
Seedance 2.0 is now on Artlist, and you can get precisely what you want.
I might get YouTube Premium.
With a fight.
The channel revealed an ARG called Beer Stearns Bravo. The ending split people, because some loved it, some didn't. But those 3 years of build-up are still one of the best in internet horror history. Now here's where it gets interesting. Between 2014 and 2016, a YouTube channel called Meat Sleep uploaded roughly 91...
Oh, I've heard about this one. I have no idea what it is, but I have heard Meat Sleep before.
Videos that looked like they were filmed by a serial killer. The audio was distorted and titles were cryptic strings of characters. And occasionally, a phrase would appear on screen or in the description that became the channel's signature. "Now you live here." The content was so convincing that it was reported to both the FBI and the hacker collective Anonymous. And those weren't people online trying to ruin everything, but actual concerned viewers who genuinely believed they were watching evidence of real crimes. The production quality was intentionally degraded to the point where it was nearly impossible to tell if what you were watching was fiction or reality. Then, in January 2016, the creators deleted everything. They then posted a single final video explaining that Meat Sleep was a collaborative art project created by 11 people across 8 countries, and that all of it was not real. However, knowing those videos were fake doesn't make them any less disturbing. The people who made Meat Sleep understood some very strong principles about horror like this. The less you explain, the scarier it gets. In March 2026, during the Women's Milan-San Remo cycling race, one of the sport's most prestigious events, a mass crash occurred on the descent of the Suppressor. For those unfamiliar with professional cycling, the Suppressor is a famous climb near the end of the race. The descent is fast, technical and dangerous. In the chaos of the crash, Italian rider Deborah Silvestri went headfirst over a roadside barrier and fell several meters onto a lower level road below. All of it was captured live on television. She was motionless on the ground and commentators went silent. Viewers watching at home had no idea if she was alive and started to panic. Her team later confirmed she was conscious and alert while being transported to the hospital. Reports described her as stable, but the footage of her going over that barrier, in full view of cameras, with thousands of people watching live, is a difficult watch. On the morning of June 17, 2007, viewers watching the Czech television morning show saw something terrifying. The show used a network of unmanned weather cameras to display scenic views of the Czech countryside. Beautiful mountains, rolling hills and peaceful mornings. But that morning, one of those cameras showed something different. A nuclear mushroom cloud rising over the mountains. People got nervous and scared. They called the station and emergency services. For a few horrifying minutes, Czech citizens believed they were witnessing a nuclear attack on their own country in real time. It turned out to be a hoax. An art collective called Stohoven had hacked into the camera, swapping the live feed for pre-recorded.
That's so fucked up. What the hell possesses you to do that?
GI footage of a nuclear detonation. The production quality was good enough to fool viewers for several minutes before the station realized what had happened. 6 members of the group were prosecuted, but in what might be the most Czech thing that's ever happened, the judge acquitted all of them, saying that the public reaction was more amused than alarmed. The collective actually ended up winning an award for young artists from the Czech National Gallery. This incident...
You tricked the Czech Republic into thinking they were getting fucking nuked and you win an award? What are we doing?
And is apparently well known in European art cycles, but virtually unknown in the English-speaking internet. Which is a shame because it's one of the craziest stunts anyone has ever pulled on live television. If you're into analog horror, you've probably heard of the big names, like Local 58, the Mandela Catalog, and so on. But there's a smaller series that deserves way more attention than it gets. The Tangi Virus is an analog horror series by a YouTube channel called Vintage 8. It's set in the fictional Louisiana town of Kate's Crossing, and it begins with something called the Williams tapes. The tapes are clinical research recordings by Dr. Julia Williams, stationed at the Kate's Crossing Health Unit. In the summer of 1988, patients who swam in the local river started showing up with strange symptoms: sore throats, skin rashes, irritated eyes, nausea. Standard stuff at first. Dr. Williams suspected a virus and began documenting everything. Patients developed tumors near their spines. The virus mutated, producing parasitic worms that targeted the nervous system and brain. The tumors functioned as second brains, essentially taking over the host. What's most disturbing is that when Dr. Williams tried to alert the local government, they shut her down. Not because they wouldn't believe her, but because they were already infected. The parish government was covering up the outbreak to protect tourism revenue. Dr. Williams eventually ended it to prevent the virus from completely taking over her brain. Her research tapes are all that remain.
VoiceMod gives you over 150 lag-free, real-time voice changers and unlimited soundboards. Whether you want to speak with a realistic Battlefield radio voice or clear...
Man, shut the fuck up.
This incident is real, and it's one of the most terrifying pieces of work
they're fucking repeating shit.
In Zamera Oblast, Russia, a colleague filmed an electrician attempting to access a faulty part of a power substation. It's routine work, something these guys basically do every day. Then, without any warning, the substation explodes. Maliciously, he was wearing protective equipment. The gear shielded his face and both men were able to flee. His colleague kept filming as the entire substation erupted into an inferno behind them. Sparks and fire consuming everything. It took 4 fire trucks and 20 firefighters to put out the blaze.
Oh shit.
The Russian Ministry of Emergency Situations confirmed the explosion was caused by a short circuit in an oil transformer. Luckily, no one was injured. This is one of the most obscure entries on this entire iceberg, and it's obscure for a reason. On October 20th, 2011, a YouTube channel with the name 01A51CD0 was created. Between November and December of that year, exactly 10 videos were uploaded. Every title was written upside down and the content was pretty unsettling. The first video, titled Waiting Patiently, featured footage leading up to the on-camera S-word of American politician Bud Dwyer. If you're not familiar with Dwyer, he was a Pennsylvania treasurer who called a press conference and then did some shocking acts on live television. The final video, You Did Well, is arguably worse. It shows someone filming 2 people from a hidden spot in the bushes. It's clear that whoever made this video was stalking real people and documenting it. The channel's purpose has never been explained. There has been no follow-up and no explanation. It exists on the edges of YouTube, and the fact that it mixes real footage of people passing away with what seems to be real stalking makes it one of those things you wish you'd never found.
What the fuck?
This next entry is dashcam footage from a tow truck on an expressway in Guangdong province, China. And I need to warn you, this one is hard to watch. A sedan had broken down on the sideway of the expressway. A tow truck arrived to help, and the operator was standing outside, preparing to lower the ramp and load the disabled car. He tried to do standard roadside assistance. Then, from behind, a vehicle came driving down the expressway at full speed. For unknown reasons, the driver didn't slow down. He didn't brake, and actually drove straight into him. The vehicle slammed directly into the rear of the tow truck,
like actually
while the operator was standing right there. The tow operator took the full force
like that is a deliberate turn. Why?
Of the impact. The driver of the broken down car, who was standing nearby, witnessed everything. In the dashcam footage, you can see him freeze completely. Then he slowly raises both hands and covers his ears. He continues to stand there, motionless and in shock. Just remember,
what the fuck would you even do in that situation? Like someone's trying to help you with your car and you just watch them get ran over. Like they're dead. Well, I'd dead ass just stand there too. I don't know what I would do.
On the road, it's not just your mistakes you have to watch out for. It's everyone else's stupidity too. Art Bell hosted a late-night radio show called Coast to Coast AM. It was the biggest overnight radio program in America, known for covering UFOs, the paranormal, conspiracy theories, and unexplained phenomena. Art Bell talked to everyone. Scientists, conspiracy theorists, alleged alien abductees, you name it. The show was entertainment, but it had this strange quality where even the most outlandish callers sounded somehow plausible in Art Bell's hands. Then, on September 11th, 1997, a caller got through who was different from the rest. The man claimed to be a former employee of Area 51, but unlike the usual callers who sounded calm and rehearsed, this man was audibly terrified. His voice was shaking and he was
Didn't Obama confirm that there's no aliens in Area 51?
Crying. He sounded like someone who believed he was in immediate danger. He begged Art Bell to get the word out before they got to him. And then, mid-sentence, the entire radio station satellite uplink failed.
What?
Let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not.
Area 51.
Yeah, that's right. Were you an employee or are you now?
A former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be.
Well, this was certainly interesting. We are now on a backup system, everybody. A backup system. And that one caller that I had on the air, I guess we were about in the middle of his transmission, his telephone call, which was one of the strangest ones I've ever had. And the entire transmitting system by satellite went down here. and we were notified we were off the air. And it would appear to be from this end and some sort of massive transmit failure. So we are now using a backup system to be on the air.
The broadcast was knocked off the air for approximately 30 minutes.
Feel that vibration? That's not your tires. That's damage, hiding in plain sight.
Brother.
Bent wheels don't stay the same.
Artbell's show reached millions of listeners, and the satellite infrastructure was very robust. And when the show came back on, the caller was gone. A few weeks later, someone called the show claiming to be the same person, saying it had all been a prank and that he was an actor. Art Bell seemed to accept this explanation, but many listeners weren't convinced. The original caller's terror sounded too genuine to be a performance. And more importantly, nobody has ever explained why the satellite uplink failed at that exact moment. I debated whether to include this one because there's almost nothing to say about it. The video shows what appears to be a woman looking almost possessed and stabbing herself. The footage looks...
Why'd you stop? I'm hitting the gas harder.
Very raw and chaotic. The camera perspective...
okay. So they're turned the other way, so I definitely would have stopped for the start of it, but I want... If they start charging at me, I'm 100% flooring that bitch.
The dashcam. There's no information about how long this video has been circulating on the internet, or where it was filmed. It exists in the depths of YouTube with no context, no explanation, and barely getting any views. Some people argue that it's just an art project, while others believe it's real. However, the complete absence of any verifiable information makes it impossible to tell what is true.
I don't know, I feel like that guy was going too fast for it to just be like if that person knew that the girl was there, I think he probably would have been driving slower. That seemed pretty real.
We're now at the bottom of the iceberg, and from this point on, I've only included real clips. There's this clip that's been going around on social media. I couldn't track down where it originally came from, and there's no news article attached to it. I found it on X, and what happens is pretty disturbing. A forklift carrying what looks like wood pellets causes something catastrophic. And the worst part of it, if the guy hadn't walked over to where his co-worker was standing and swapped places with him, well, then he could have saved himself a hospital visit. This is just pure bad luck.
That's it.
Vince Zampella was one of the most important people in gaming that most gamers had never heard of. He co-created Call of Duty. He founded Respawn Entertainment, the studio behind Titanfall and Apex Legends. He was one of the biggest names in the first-person shooter genre, and he was 55 years old. On December 21st, 2025, Zampella was driving a 2026 Ferrari 296 GTS on Angeles Crest Highway, a mountain road in the San Gabriel Mountains north of Los Angeles. The car, a hybrid sports car with over 800 horsepower, went off the road, hit a concrete barrier, and burst into flames. Footage circulating online shows the Ferrari shooting out of a tunnel on a downhill curve at high speed, then sliding and striking the barrier on the right side. The impact tore open the right flank of the car and triggered the fire. Zampella was trapped in the burning wreck and passed away at the scene. EA, Respawn's parent company, called it an unimaginable loss. And across the gaming world, people mourned someone whose work had shaped some of the biggest games of the last 20 years. In December 2024, the JK Bridge, connecting the Brazilian state of Tocantins and Maranhão, collapsed. 14 people passed away, 3 more were reported missing. 1 was injured. Multiple angles of footage captured the exact moment of collapse. In this dashcam footage, you can see people driving over the bridge as usual. But then, the bridge gives way beneath them. Some survived, some didn't. And if you think about it, this incident is a lot worse than other tragedies. A bridge isn't supposed to collapse. It's one of those things you trust completely without ever thinking about it. You drive over bridges every day, you walk on overpasses, and you'd never consider the possibility
oh my god, someone was on a motorcycle.
You might simply cease to exist.
Holy fuck. I mean, those videos weren't like super disturbing. They were just like, they shouldn't have been on camera. And they also shouldn't have been posted. That was a good video though. Let's move on to the next one. This is the last video of the night, and then we're hopping off. Horrors from the FBI database. The thumbnail of this video was a guy and his eyes were uneven. That was the thumbnail, so I clicked on it. It's 23 minutes long.
Plainsview, Arkansas, 1995. A woman named Pamela Lamb is getting ready to go to work. Her husband David is staying home that day, and he tells her he's planning to get some stuff done around the house, namely, mowing the lawn. Later that day, as Pamela's returning home, she's greeted with an odd sight. A half-mowed lawn, and a still running mower sitting in the middle of it, without anybody present to operate the machine. She gets out of her car and shuts it off. Maybe her husband went to the backyard and he just forgot to turn off the mower, but he's not there. She checks inside the house. His keys and wallet are still on the table, but he's nowhere to be found. The more she looks, the more the realization sets in that her husband had simply vanished, as if he was plucked out of reality in the middle of a menial household chore. She'd then call the police and a missing persons report would be filed.
That's the person I saw.
But it wouldn't matter, because David Lamb would never be seen again. People go missing all the time. In the USA, a staggering 1,600 new missing persons cases are reported every single day. But often, there's some sort of clue or indication as to what may have happened in a given case. Maybe it's a teenager who ran away from their parents, or a hitchhiker who got into the wrong car. But this case is different. Not only are there basically no clues left behind to help explain how and why David Lamb disappeared, but the details that are there only make this case harder to explain.
Great news!
Oh
now your account has a level, and you get free daily cases for it every day.
A running lawnmower on a half-mowed lawn suggests that he left in a hurry, maybe even in a panic. But his keys and wallet being left behind would indicate that he wasn't planning to go far. Plainsview is a tiny town in the middle of rural Arkansas. If David had gone anywhere, it'd almost certainly be in a vehicle of some kind. Since there were no reported cars missing in this case, David likely got into someone else's vehicle. Considering that the lawnmower was running and how quick and easy it is to shut a lawnmower off, you could theorize that he was forcibly taken. But for what reason? One clue here that could support this theory is a list of injuries David reportedly had. One of them was a gunshot wound he had sustained earlier that year.
What?
Getting shot generally means making somebody upset enough to shoot you. Is it possible whoever shot David was responsible for his disappearance? It would be a clean explanation, but there are some details here that don't quite line up. When Pamela came home, she said the lawnmower was still running. This single detail is what makes this case so interesting. It's almost as if this guy was raptured or something. But how was it possible that the lawnmower was running without anybody there to push it? In 1982, after a rising rate of injuries, the American government would mandate that all new lawnmowers sold in the USA would have to have something called a dead man switch installed onto it. If you've ever mowed a lawn before, you definitely know what this is. For the machine to actually run, you have to be holding down a spring-loaded handle. If you let it go for even a second, the lawnmower shuts off. How is it possible that David's mower was running without him being there to hold it? Maybe it just so happened to be a very old mower that didn't have this dead man switch installed, but how likely is it for a 30-year-old man to be using a 14-year-old lawnmower? It's hard to speculate with how limited the details are here, but you could possibly surmise some potential conflict between David and his spouse. One documented detail is that David had a tattoo that read Connie, a different name than his wife Pamela.
Ooh.
Again, there's nothing
This is why we don't tattoo significant others' names, okay? You will never catch me do that shit.
Concrete to suggest that there was any real long-term conflict between this couple. This tattoo could have just been for an ex-girlfriend that he knew long before he met his wife. But I will say that it's a little strange Pamela has been so under the radar about her own husband's disappearance. I couldn't find a single instance of this case even being in the newspaper. If my spouse vanished one day, I'd be shouting from the rooftops to keep the case in the public eye. But this mystery hasn't received any of that sort of advocacy. In my mind, there are three possible explanations here. The first is that David had a medical episode of some kind and just wandered off in a daze. I don't think this is very likely, as
yeah, but they would have found him if he went into like the woods or something.
Plainsview is a very small town, and it wouldn't be very hard to find him in such a tiny place. The second is that somebody had a grudge against David, and they forcibly took him while he was outside his house and did God knows what to him. This is possible, but it would be hinging on the fact that David owned an antique lawnmower that could keep running without an operator present. Which brings us to the third theory, one that says Pamela had something to do with her husband's disappearance, and she merely lied about the lawnmower running. This feels like the most plausible explanation to me. In most cases where a spouse is found to be murdered after going missing, their partner is usually the perpetrator. There could be a multitude of methods she could have taken to pull off this crime, whereas somebody kidnapping David while he was mowing his lawn is a theory that relies on much narrower possibilities. Ultimately, though, we can't say for sure what happened to David Lamb. The information here is sparse, and we can only speculate. While his is notable for his bizarre details, David's case is not unique. Out of the 600,000 people that go missing every year in the United States, a sizable portion of these cases end up going cold because there's simply no plausible theory that can explain why these people just vanished into thin air. In many of these cases, including David's, it almost feels like these people just stopped existing in this plane of reality. Like they despawned. One moment there, the next not. Last year, I did a video about VOD, the FBI's violent crime apprehension program. You can consider this a sort of sequel. Many of the cases we're going to talk about today are actually attached to VICAP, but to the missing persons section.
Wait, was this guy an FBI agent?
Unidentified remains section. Every case we're going to cover today is cold, often having gone years without any sort of update or potential resolution. And just before we get to the next story, I want to let you guys know that I've uploaded my whole catalog to Spotify because they actually support video now. If you happen to have a premium subscription already, it'll definitely be a superior way to consume my content. I'll link it down below if you want to check it out. But without any further ado, let's get back into it. Verona, Missouri, 1972. It's 8 in the morning on a musky June day. Father and husband Lynn Seal is getting ready to head to his job on the Calico Dairy Farm. Him and his family recently moved into a mobile home on the farm's property, meaning he doesn't have to travel very far. His wife Christine and his son David are both sleeping, so he sneaks out quietly as to not wake them. An hour and a half later, a mailman drops off some letters for the family. Through the door, he can see 2-year-old David standing alone in the trailer. 15 minutes after that, Lynn would return to say good morning to his wife and son during a break at work. But he'd only find David, with no sign of Christine anywhere.
What?
It wouldn't take him long to search the tiny mobile home, but there was no sign of his wife. Moreover, nothing appeared to be missing. Her purse, car keys, wallet, and even all her shoes were still right where they were when Lynn had left for work just a little while earlier. The only thing that wasn't there was the nightgown Christine had been wearing when she went to bed the previous night. Before getting the police involved, Lynn would decide to look around the farm's property. With the couple's cars still in the driveway, Christine couldn't have gone very far, but he couldn't find her anywhere. He'd then call his parents. The day before, they had all gone together to celebrate Father's Day. Maybe they had some idea where she might be, but they hadn't heard anything. Out of ideas, Lynn calls the police. They come to the family's property with bloodhounds who are able to track down Christine's scent to the driveway behind the family's car, right where another vehicle might park if one had pulled up to their home. That's where the scent stopped. Police theorize that Christine likely got into a car here. Considering she was still in her nightgown and hadn't even been wearing shoes or socks, it wouldn't be hard to assume that she entered that vehicle unwillingly.
Deliver
Dude,
smiles.
it is like these people are just like vanishing. Because there's not like nothing missing. Like that's so weird. But if they got kidnapped, like there has to be some sort of... Because both of these people like disappeared in their own house. So, like, if they got kidnapped, like, there has to be, like, traffic cams and shit like that. It's like these people literally just vanished.
Foul play could be involved here. The police inexplicably didn't see it that way. Their theory was that Christine had simply ran off in a nightgown and bare feet in the middle of rural Missouri. They said they wouldn't do any more policing until 48
I think the cop did it.
hours had passed. If she still hadn't returned at that point, then they would continue the investigation. Lynn and his family would be left to organize things on their own. They'd get a search party together consisting of 500 local residents who would scour every corner of the small town of Verona, but nothing would be found. When police started looking into the case again, they did consider the angle of foul play, but they couldn't piece together a potential motive. Christine was a cosmetologist who'd been working in a nearby town. She was well liked and didn't have any enemies. They did, however, try to connect the case to a similar one in the nearby town of Nixa. In late 1969, cosmetologist Carol Blades went out to a laundromat to get her family's laundry done, but she never came home. Police went to the laundromat and found her clothes laying damp in the washing machine, and no sign of Carol.
Okay, this one is
An
probably
extensive
just a
search and
kidnapping.
investigation would turn up nothing, and the case would go cold. However, almost exactly a year later in 1970, Carol's body would be found in a farmer's field.
Yep.
She had been murdered, but the police couldn't connect any suspect to the crime, meaning whoever carried out the act was still walking free around this area of Missouri at the time of Christine's disappearance. While strikingly similar, police couldn't substantiate any connection between Carol's murder and Christine's disappearance, but they wouldn't have to wait very long to get another lead to investigate. A man had been driving outside Verona, but got a flat tire in front of Lee Church, an abandoned Baptist chapel. While fixing his car, he heard an enormous bang come from inside the church. He walked up to investigate, and upon opening the door, he allegedly saw a naked woman running out the back exit of the chapel and into the woods. The man then left and called the police, who had come to look around the church. They found several items that suggested somebody had been living inside the abandoned chapel for quite a while, but Christine was still nowhere to be found, and nothing concrete came from this tip. After this, the case would once again go cold. No new leads would be found. Lynn would remarry a couple years after his first wife's disappearance, which some might consider to be fishy, but I do think it's important to keep in mind that this was the 70s in the rural American South. People tended to marry again quickly after losing a partner, and the police have already ruled Lynn out as a suspect. But there's definitely a non-zero chance of a deathbed confession happening that could clear this entire case up. The Seal family is still to this day offering a $25,000 reward for any information that could lead to this mystery being solved. As of 2024, the case remains open with the Lawrence County Sheriff's Department. If you happen to know something, please let them know. These first two cases follow the same pattern. One minute somebody is there, the next they're not. No clues are left behind, and everybody can only speculate why this person just vanished into thin air. This next case is like that. It even once again starts with somebody leaving their head.
That one seemed more like a kidnapping to me, just because it's like there was a body, and then the second girl that got kidnapped is like there's a resemblance between the two, and most kidnappers have a type. Like most serial killers have a type. So like that one just kind of seems like it was a kidnap. Like this one can be explained. There just isn't like any suspects.
House in the morning, but
the other two, those motherfuckers just vanished. That's a glitch in the Matrix.
Has a twist. A bizarre and unexpected clue would eventually emerge in this story, one that would give credence to the worst possible scenario. Hudson, Florida, 1998. It's a common muggy April morning on Good Friday, and Deborah Cronin is getting ready to go to a doctor's appointment. Before she leaves, she says goodbye to her sister Diane, who's been staying with her for the last couple months, as she's unfortunately been going through a pretty tough time with her mental health. Around a decade earlier, she was diagnosed as a manic depressive, now known as bipolar disorder, which would be followed by a nasty divorce. If that wasn't bad enough, Child Protective Services would then start a case against Diane, alleging that she had been mistreating her 3 children. The state accused her of Munchausen by proxy, stating that she had been seeking excessive and unnecessary medical treatment for her children. She would be acquitted of the charges.
If I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder, I would totally be giving my kids as much treatment as possible to make sure they don't have it either.
Just the case alone was enough for her ex-husband Frederick to win full custody of their children when the divorce was finalized in 1991. All of these unfortunate events lining up in a row dealt a massive blow to Diane, as it would to anyone. She began to spiral, turning to substances to deal with the stress of it all. That in turn would cause her mental health to worsen even further, which would lead to her being involuntarily committed to several mental health facilities 32 times over the following 7 years. Her family was of the opinion that she should be staying in these facilities longer term so she could receive deeper professional care. But it was Florida in the 90s and that likely wasn't in the cards. While Diane did have her own place, she opted instead to stay with her sister, who would be able to help take care of her during her rougher episodes. Deborah was more than willing to help, but she was disappointed to learn that Diane hadn't been taking her medication, which was causing her mental health to deteriorate even further. That fateful April morning, Deborah told her sister she was just leaving for a bit and she'd be back soon. But when she returned just a couple hours later, Diane was gone. This was alarming. Diane didn't drive, and she had been previously known to hitchhike to get around. Deborah would anxiously wait at home for her sister to return, but when tomorrow arrived without any sign of her, she finally opted to call the police. An investigation would immediately begin. The police would find a witness who reportedly saw Diane walking along a highway on the outskirts of Hudson the afternoon she vanished. They'd also managed to track down a bartender who reported that he had been serving Diane alcohol that day, but had to cut her off as she began walking around in circles. This was the last time she'd ever be seen, but not the last time she'd ever be heard. 3 days later, Diane's mother would return home to find a new voicemail waiting for her on her answering machine. Nothing could prepare her for what she'd hear on the other end.
Oh shit.
After hitting play on the tape, a sound of scuffling can be heard, followed by a woman's voice. one that belongs to her daughter. More scuffling can be heard, followed once again by Diane's voice. After this, the call ends.
Still staying up late, gaming solo?
That one kind of just seems like she didn't just vanish. This just seems like she ran away and got like it seems like more of a result of drugs than anything. I don't think this one's too mysterious.
Diane's mother happened to have caller ID, and the name for this phone number was Starlight.
What?
She'd call the number back, but nobody would pick up. She'd report this incident to the police, who would never publicly reveal whether or not this voicemail actually led anywhere. Regardless, it added a new and terrifying lens to this case. Diane didn't simply go missing. Something must have happened to her. Later that same day, another awful clue would be found that would only support the idea that foul play was involved here. A woman had been walking down US 19, the same highway Diane had been sighted on 3 days prior. She noticed what she described as a fake finger sitting in the bushes.
Ew.
She'd tell her boyfriend about this, who'd return to the spot and manage to track down the prop. Except it wasn't a prop. It was a real severed human finger.
What the fuck?
One that the police would verify once belonged to Diane. In just one day, this missing persons investigation would turn into a kidnapping or a potential homicide case. The police would act with a newfound sense of urgency, deploying a helicopter to scan the area for any signs of Diane, but none would be found. Nothing new would be uncovered until 4 days later, when a worker at a nearby convenience store noticed something odd sitting in the shop's outdoor freezer. It was a bag containing a neatly folded set of clothes. The manager of the store knew Diane, as she was a frequent customer, so he called Deborah to inform her of the discovery, who would make her way down to the shop and would end up verifying that these clothes did in fact belong to Diane. And on top of that, it was a set of clothing that she had personally bought for her. This would be the last advancement made in this case, and it would disappear from the public eye without any sort of resolution. At least for a little while. 2 years later, in the year 2000, Terry, the girlfriend of Diane and Deborah's brother, walked into a Circle K convenience store to buy a soda and some cigarettes. She was familiar with the shop, as it was where Deborah had currently been employed. As she was waiting for the clerk to help her, she noticed something odd behind the lottery counter. It was a clear Ziploc bag with a name written on it.
What the
Diane.
fuck?
Inside the bag was an assortment of toiletries and makeup. While her family couldn't verify whether the items actually belonged to Diane or not, the police were able to verify that the toothpaste in the bag did come from a mental health facility that Diane had been released from only 2 weeks before she had vanished. The police would also review the store's CCTV footage to see if they could find evidence of who may have planted the bag there, but they couldn't find anything on the tapes. This was the last major development in the case of Diane Oggett. Every clue here is disconnected from one another, and it's no wonder why the police haven't been able to piece together a solid theory to explain
So the bag just appeared in the Circle K?
Her disappearance. While authorities have never publicly released the identity of the Starlight who left the disturbing voicemail, internet sleuths have theorized that it could have originated from the Starlight Lounge, a strip club which used to exist 20 miles south of where Diane had disappeared, although it's worth mentioning that this is pure speculation. There's been 2 theories floating around as to what may have happened to Diane. The first was that she was kidnapped and held against her will. She may have managed to get access to a phone long enough to call her mother, but ended up getting caught in the middle of the call, which led to that disturbing voicemail. But if that was the case, then why would her finger be found on the side of the road? If someone had been holding her hostage, why would they cut off her finger only to then throw it in a ditch?
As a
That detail
misdirection?
can be explained by the second theory, which is that Diane fell victim to a drug-related dispute. She had been known to use several substances.
Yeah, that was my theory. I said that she was probably just like a result of drugs.
Dealers in this part of Florida used to punish customers who didn't pay back their debts was finger chopping. It's possible what started off as a punishment for defaulting on a debt may have escalated into a homicide. In any event, we unfortunately have no idea what happened to Diane Oggett. Her family is still offering a $3,000 reward for any information that may lead to her case being resolved. So it goes without saying, if you happen to know something, then please get in contact with the Pasco County Sheriff's Office. When looking at these more mysterious missing persons cases, one thing you'll quickly notice is a lack of information. When somebody just vanishes inexplicably without leaving behind any clues, their case files often end up being pretty short. So for the last bit of this video, I want to talk about some shorter cases that don't really warrant their own section, but are still worth talking about. Las Vegas, Nevada, 1999. 47-year-old Robert Turner is taking a trip to Death Valley to meet up with some friends. Before heading out though, he visits his brother to drop off some tools, telling him he'll be back later on to pick them up for a job he had landed in San Francisco. He would never return to pick up those tools, and he would never be seen again. One notable detail here is that Robert didn't own a car, meaning he was either hitching a ride with a friend or was simply hitchhiking. It was never clarified who Robert was meeting in Death Valley, and to further complicate things, his brother didn't actually report him missing until he had already been gone for 9 months, making it pretty hard for the police to figure out what may have happened. No leads or further information have ever come about. Colfax, California, 1993. A landlord is stopping in to check on his elderly tenant, 81-year-old Elmer Booth. He hasn't paid his rent for the last couple months, and he's not picking up the phone either. He knocks on the door, but nobody comes to open it. He decides to just go in anyways, and when he does, there's no sign of Elmer anywhere. He calls the police and a missing persons case is filed, but the police were unable to figure out any idea as to where Elmer may have gone, which led to his case very quickly going cold. Not much was known about Elmer, who had no living family at the time. He had been known to go on daily walks around the small mining town of Colfax. It's possible that he might have vanished on one of these outings. His case remains unresolved to this day.
Holy shit.
Cookeville, Tennessee, 2004. 22-year-old
He's rapid firing him at me.
Basketball star John Thrasher drops out of college, much to his parents' dismay. He's recently fallen in with a bad crowd, picking up a drug habit along the way.
Oh yeah, so this guy just ran away. Oh my god, I need to get YouTube Premium.
Left foot, right foot, J-walk. J-walk.
Alright, get on with it, dude. Really?
The accounts of what happened vary. Some agencies say that John was picked up by an unknown person from his parents' house on August 15th. Some say that he was last seen at the Putnam County Fair on August 14th. Others say he left home carrying a backpack on the 13th. In any event, John would completely vanish in the middle of August, and his parents would formally report him missing on the 16th. Investigators wouldn't find any concrete evidence to explain where he may have gone, and as the years rolled by, the search would slowly shift from looking for a live person to looking for a body, with the police searching nearby sinkholes and lakes. Nothing would be found though, and the case would go cold for the next 6 years. However, in 2010, a jailhouse tip would come through that would spark new life in the investigation. A female inmate said that she knew what happened to John, stating that he had gotten into a fight at a party and was killed in the confrontation, with the perpetrators dumping his body into a nearby sinkhole. This tip would not only fail to pan out, but it would lead to a second tragedy occurring.
What?
The police would head to the sinkhole to start preparations for rescue crews to descend into it. However, while standing around the massive hole, the ground would give way, causing Deputy Chad Pritchard to slip and fall into the 160-foot crater. He would instantly die on impact. Rescue crews would make their way to the bottom to recover Chad's body and to search for any evidence of John. There was none, and the police would ultimately discredit the tip they had received. This was the last development in the case of John Thrasher, which remains open and unresolved to this day. Endicott, New York, 2016. This one might have the least information out of any case I've talked about today. 73-year-old Peter Romano, who had previously lived in Pennsylvania, ended up vanishing one day in May 2016. The FBI would release a VICAP alert with his photo, but other than that, there's basically no information about this guy and how he went missing. Even the picture here is just a file photo from the DMV, one that doesn't even have a date attached to it. All we can surmise is that one day, this man simply vanished without a trace, just like everybody we've talked about today. It's scary to think that there are so many people in this world who just inexplicably disappear, as if they glitched out of our reality, and no matter how hard people look, no trace of them can be found. As unsettling as this idea may be, I think it's comforting that these cases still do get talked about. There are several active communities on the internet dedicated to keeping these stories alive, which more often than you think can lead to them being resolved. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like me to cover more true crime like this in the future, then let me know. I do enjoy making videos like
Yeah, a lot of those people probably just ran away or got kidnapped and then the person just disposed of the body. Like a lot of those could have an explanation, but I don't know. The first two seemed like they were just like a fucking glitch in the Matrix. Like the guy's just mowing his lawn and just vanishes. Anyways, that was a good video. That's the last video of the day. I am gonna go live tomorrow and what day? It's Monday. Tomorrow and the next day. Tomorrow we're gonna be doing the Bigfoot stream. Super excited for that. That's gonna be a really fun stream. I think we're gonna start off with probably Siege or Red Dead or Sea of Thieves, one of the three. But we're gonna be playing Bigfoot with 5 people. It's gonna be super fun. And chaotic because none of us know how to play, but we're gonna have a lot of fun. That tomorrow stream is probably gonna be around like 5 hours. The stream's a bit shorter today just because I had to edit a lot of stuff, but there is new videos up. Also, go follow my Kick. I just made a Kick account so that I can stream to multiple platforms. We're streaming on 3 platforms right now, so go follow the other stuff. I also have a new YouTube channel just specifically for VODs. If people want to go follow that, it's just called Hydra's VODs. No numbers in it, nothing, just Hydra's VODs. So there's all that stuff. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.